Hello, welcome to another episode of It Sure Is a Podcast. And the question of the day that we're starting out with is, Taylor Swift is a person of notoriety, a person who, in the music business, she is pretty popular, but also she has a lot of exes, right? So with all those exes, to get to Taylor Swift, do you have to fight all the exes? Almost like a Scott Pilgrim situation? Or you know what I mean? Like a boss rush where you have to fight all her exes before you can get to Taylor Swift?
Just like an arena-style battle?
Yeah, you didn't think I was coming out swinging with this early.
I actually think that to be her ex, they both Taylor Swift and whoever said future ex will be, just need a boost of media, media attention. So they're like, all right, so you guys are going to go to the beach. This is not an original take, by the way. I'm stealing this, but I'm stealing it because I agree with it.
Steal away.
But they're like, okay, you're going to get photographed with her walking on the beach. She's like, but I'm married. They're like, the details. Nobody cares. You don't actually have to do anything. But this is going to happen. Everybody's going to say you're dating. Then you're going to break up with her. And then you both get media attention. So, it's a boost to your name. I think that's why she has so many exes.
I believe that.
And we're going to get fucked up because her fans will not tolerate this. But I wonder if she's just an insufferable human being to have that many exes.
And I know a few people who do listen usually.
So here's the thing.
T Swift fans.
I am not going to lie. This is unironic. I am not saying that to try to recover from that probably unpopular opinion. I loved her original music.
Yeah, her stuff now isn't
beginning,
bad.
I was... unironically, I would listen to that in the car and sing along.
What was the one? Oh my gosh! Now I'm just thinking of the one when she sings about the Bleachers band and the you've been here the whole time.
I'm in the Bleachers.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that song.
Dude, the thing is she does have good music, and definitely during that time, she had some really, really solid, good stuff, and she still has good stuff now. But it's not.
She got older, and her fans got older, and so she tried to evolve, be a little bit edgier, because you can't do the same thing forever. She probably got bored of that, and she's like, I'm not that young kid anymore. So I understand the evolution of it. For me personally, I was like, well, it just didn't. I still like her as an artist. Good on her. Make your money. She is one of the few people I think. So when we were, my heart. I almost said when we were kids.
When
but
we
it's
were
true.
kids and
when
dinosaurs.
I was young, but seriously, do you remember how there were pop icons who were legendary status? There was no one you could even hold a candle to.
Give me an example.
Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Granted,
okay. So you're talking about
I'm talking
those
a living
icons.
living legend.
Well, he's not living anymore.
Well, I know, but back then he was.
Well, back then he was. Some people believe
probably
that
a good thing
alive.
He's not, because he diddled a lot of kids and ruined a lot of lives. But
I mean, if you have a ranch called the Neverland Ranch, you just know something's wrong. Dude,
I'm trying to think of a better boy band. There was NSYNC,
Backstreet Boys.
30 years later, they are still iconic.
Oh yeah.
But we don't get that as much today because of social media and everything. So everybody there's no more gatekeeping. If you have something you want to put out into the world, like a podcast,
for real,
we can just do it and we can put it out. Whereas back then, you couldn't do that. You needed studio support. You needed money for marketing. You needed all of that. So you don't see it as much anymore. But Taylor Swift, Ed Sheeran, The reason that whether you like them or not, I can still respect them as artists is that in bum rushing all of Taylor Swift's exes to try to be her new ex, they got above it. Whatever they did, they won. They no-scoped, somebody across the field for that. But I can't think of what's the Fortnite. I'm ruining my own joke.
Wait, you're saying like no scope,
Battle Royale victory.
Battle Royale
yes,
victory.
They did
Victory Royale.
Victory Royale.
There you go. There you
they
go.
They crushed it. I'm old. I don't play those games. So 6-year-olds who listen, shut the fuck up. I don't care about what you call Fortnite.
I'll be honest. In Fortnite, they had a Geralt of Rivia skin.
Oh my gosh, that'd be awesome,
dude. So I started playing it just to get the skin and everything, and then I really haven't played it since I got it. But I have it, and it's one of those things you have to do a quest to get it, or you can't get it.
Games like that would probably on paper they're like my game, but I don't like interacting with other people. I play games to interact with gaming characters.
Yeah,
I have to interact with people on a daily basis, so this is my escape.
Dude, the older you get, I think just that happens. Or if you do play with other people online, you just play with your group of friends together. Like, you're all in the same team, and that's like the furthest you will get. I was just bringing up the Taylor Swift thing. It's like, what if she's borderline like Kill la Kill, raising this army of exes,
man, and I gotta watch that so I can
and to get up to her, like to beat her, you have to beat all the exes. And I'm not talking like, I'm talking about like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure anime style fights with all her exes to make your way to the top.
Long drawn out. Oh, so you're not talking like a free for all. You're talking like 1-on-1 tournament style. Like,
dude, this is like a video game idea. This is like, because there are games like that where it's like battle 5 really intense bosses. Like the No More Heroes series is like that. Battle these bosses, then battle the final one. But it's Taylor Swift.
I would like to think that she's standing up there, like still in her very innocent, like girlish look, but like just some demented looking spiky armor, and she's like, okay guys, we're on to round 1. And all the exes just like, oh, I'm a fight to win the honor of being your future ex.
The future ex. But they're already her past exes, but like it's the same idea that you had when it was like, all right, just to get notoriety, but she's like, okay, be my ex, and then you get this like supplemental income for years. Because like all her exes, like, what are they doing now? Do you see
I didn't even know who the hell her ex was.
I think
the recent one.
I think she's paying for them just to exist.
Here's the other thing too, though, and this is so that was my funny take, or my attempt to be funny. But do you think actually that like she has so many exes because they're like with her, and then they're like, oh, you're actually talented and successful and way more popular and rich than I'll ever be, and they feel emasculated, and that's why they don't want to.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if some felt like that, because I know a lot of guys struggle with that. They're like, oh, I'm supposed to be the masculine one, and we've talked on the podcast like, we'll be the feminine ones. We're fine with that.
Well, somebody asked me once, they're like, do you feel bad that your wife makes more money? I was like, no, it's fucking hot. She's smart, she's hot, and she makes more money. The only thing that I'm thinking is I'm scared she's going to wake up one day and be like, yeah, why the hell am I with you? Get out.
Kicks you out of the room, brings the dogs in, shuts the door, and she's like, I'm taking... Me and the dogs were leaving. And you're like, not the dogs.
Leave my gaming systems.
Oh, she'd probably leave that. She probably would leave your PS4 but take the Switch.
Yeah, that's fair. We've talked about who would get the kids, aka our video game systems, if we ever split.
Right.
Which later I do have something to talk about on that specific front, video game systems. But I feel like as far as Taylor Swift and her exes go, if you want to be in the spotlight, you kind of have to have that I'm the best there will ever be mentality. You have to give up a little bit of like humility to be in the spotlight, to think that no matter what you do, you're right.
Yeah.
So I feel like clashing with somebody who just is that mega star, like old style mega star, you'll never hold a candle to no matter what you do. I wonder if they're just like, peace out. Like, probably. I don't know.
You know what I would like to see? I would like to see like a very like attractive, and from both sides, not just women but men, a very I mean, gosh, honestly, let's be real. If you're in Hollywood, there's some level of attractiveness. Like Pedro Pascal. Oh, yeah. At first, I was like, "Why is everyone?"
I'll call him Daddy.
Dude, for real. At first, I was like, "Why is
just
everyone?"
Just as a person, though, too, he's like super cool.
Yeah, he's just a chill dude. And
man, like, I hope that take ages well. Every time I say that, all my heroes just like
something happens. Yeah, something comes up and you're like, oh, I feel bad. Well,
you're like, the
thing is, how would you know, right? That's like you having a friend who like secretly has like an addiction or something. Like, how would you know?
Yeah. You have to enjoy it in the moment and just kind of like hope that they're not terrible.
Exactly. People. Which is a fantastic segue into talking about
hoping that terrible things aren't terrible.
Hoping terrible things aren't terrible, but also I don't know. Just probably someone in a cast of one of the movies that we watched. What was that? A few days ago. Like probably there's some dirt on them or some conspiracy or something.
I mean, there's probably dirt out there on me. I'm not
oh,
gonna
dude,
hold it like
dude,
if you have like
I'm not gonna
kinks
hide my
or
dirt. I'll tell you all my dirt. I jammed a dinosaur toy down my urethra when I was a child. There's
man
some dirt.
that we're gonna revisit that story later.
Dude,
But for
no, it was
now,
just me experimenting, and I just was like,
you
"What
were
happens
experimenting with
when something goes
sounding before
wrong?"
sounding was a
Pretty
thing.
much, and it was a little brontosaurus. Little practice. It was the tail, so the pointy spot. Which, God, yeah,
Probably didn't happen a second time.
no, it did not.
I'm gonna yeah.
But I've definitely learned my lesson. There, you have some dirt. Everyone has their dirt, but it's just like if I didn't tell you that, like you probably would have never known that. So just hey,
But my point is like if something like that came out about a celebrity, like yeah, everybody's human. Everybody does weird shit. I'm like, as long as they're not touching little kids or killing people or something of that nature, I don't really care.
that's fair.
Or they're extremist, radical, right-wing conservatives. Then they're also dead to me. But the point is,
or any kind of radical, anything.
That I will go with that because generally that's a negative term.
Oh yeah, because it could be radical, like negative on either end. It's like too much balance. It's all about balance. Just have a balance of everything for a healthy life. So I just wanted to say that we're just going to talk about the movies. We don't really know if there's anything conspiracy, but nowadays, like, there's an asterisk on everything. So I'm just throwing out there.
Oh, no.
Hey!
Oh, do you want to hear one of the about? We'll start with. Are you cool? Start with Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, that's
so
fine.
we saw the Super Mario Brothers movie. We're gonna get into the fun, lighthearted side, but
Right.
in typical fashion, I have to bring it down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
People are mad that Princess Peach was a badass.
Wait, for real?
Yeah, there was again. That's where my right wing conservative Christian bullcrap thing came from. Is because they're trying to ruin the movie because they're like, we grew up with her being a helpless princess. We want her to stay a helpless princess. I'm not kidding. That is not far from an actual recorded on TV take that somebody had.
Well, that's wrong. Also, the the Super Mario Brothers movie. I think it is now the biggest grossing animated movie ever, surpassing Frozen 2 or pretty dang close.
No, really?
Yeah.
Holy hell.
So,
real quick too. Spoiler alert. We're talking about the movie. I'm not holding anything back.
I was about to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to do that. Hey, spoilers. If you haven't seen the Mario movie and want to see it, or the Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves movie.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about that one too.
Yeah. So let's start with the Mario movie. All right. Just overall, in a few sentences, what'd you think?
I liked it. I went in with no expectations because the last time we got a Mario movie was the one from the 90s.
Dude, that was a beautiful movie. It is so bad, it is good.
I was young enough. I don't remember a lot of it. I just remember being like, this is horrible. So I went in with no expectations. I didn't expect it to be good or bad. So I was very pleasantly surprised. It was a kid's movie. So some of it, as an adult, you're like, okay. They had some fun humor in there, though, for adults.
Oh, yeah.
They took all these different games, the evolution throughout the years, and they tried to put each of those elements in, which I thought was awesome.
And they did it in a way that wasn't, I will say, it did teeter on that line of being, a tad too much, every scene, but they did it pretty well.
They stopped... You started to get a little bit cringy, and then they stopped just short of making it too much.
Exactly.
But again, I can forgive that a little bit too, because if you're a child, that's probably hilarious. We were in the theater. We heard children screaming hysterically at some of the stuff. And I was like, that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But it's a kid's movie.
Obviously, it's a kid's movie. And how do you make a Mario movie? I'm just glad that they did all the different elements correctly. So when the movie started out, yeah, they're in Brooklyn. Yeah, that's kind of the weird canon or lore of Mario is that they came from the real world and popped up here. But that was from the original movie and the old TV show.
I was going to ask, was that from... There was a TV show?
Oh, yeah, the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. It was a live action / cartoon. They have cartoons. Have you never seen those?
I don't think I have.
Dude, they're not
So
great.
are the video games based on that canon, or was that just
that was a canon that they made for the shows,
and they're just sticking with it?
Yeah,
okay,
pretty much. But gosh, there was they had all this stuff. They had I don't know how they put, but they're just they had the power-ups make sense in this like world. And I like how they didn't explain it too much, because a part of me feels like
they're just like, this is our universe. Like, this is just the rules of our universe.
Instead of like saying like, this mushroom, if you eat it, your DNA
the
will
fungus
change.
It adapts your cells to make you super. They're just like, no, don't worry about it. Just eat it, and this happens.
I do love in the beginning when Mario's like, I hate mushrooms.
Then laughed he's like, my ass off.
Picking them off and giving them to Luigi. And Luigi's like, I love mushrooms.
They didn't even like address. Well, did you see too? Luigi didn't have any food.
Oh yeah.
They fed Mario. Luigi had an empty plate, and Mario was just subtly through giving him the mushrooms.
My favorite thing is like even the family treats Luigi like shit, but like Mario is the only one that cares about his brother, and everyone else is like, oh, they're all yelling at Mario, and Luigi's just like why aren't you yelling at me? Like,
that was such a fun dynamic. Also, I wanna address something else. Where do you stand on not having the original voice actor voice Mario? Everybody was all mad because they're like, you're having another bland white guy voice him.
Where I stand on it, it's the same thing I said when they first did the trailer, was like, what, you want the entire movie, the high pitch, wahoo, wah, wah, like all of the whole movie? Because that would have driven me up a wall.
Everybody was like,
he has a little bit of an accent, but you can understand him. I like that.
Everybody, I was so angry when everybody's like, he's still alive. How do you not want to honor this? I'm like, he's great for video games because it's sound bites. So like, you don't hear it constantly. If I had to sit through an hour and a half, which I wouldn't have to, but the point is, that voice sucks. I don't give a shit. Who are you? Who sits there and is like, I love this man's voice. It makes me so horny.
What about like Toad's voice too? That really high pitched screech. Imagine a whole movie like that.
Yeah, I was like, no shit. They're gonna get actual actors who like don't sound like dog crap. And again, I'm not talking shit on the actor himself. He did what he was asked to do. It was great. It's an iconic voice, and I still love it for video games. But for a movie, it doesn't match up.
Oh yeah, it would be annoying, ear grating. To that point. I think the guy, all right, remember in the movie in the beginning after I love the commercial, by the way, especially when they have the capes and they're just on bar stools.
That was so cool.
And they're just planking on bar stools and they're like, we're here to save a Brooklyn.
Just pretending that was so good.
The guy who's playing the little video game cabinet and on it said Jumpman, he was like supposed to be the original Mario from Donkey Kong. Like, because it wasn't Mario, it was Jumpman initially. And I think that was I could be mistaken, but I think that was the original Mario voice actor. That's why he showed up randomly and went like, wahoo! Like, that's why he would randomly do that. I think that was him. But yeah, it would be very ear grating. I also like how they didn't spend a lot of time in the real world either, because I was afraid like they'd spend the whole movie there and then they end up like just going at the end. You know what I mean? Like,
and everybody, you're like, there's enough movies based in the real world. Like, let's see the cool,
the Mushroom Kingdom, and a lot of the like sets for the movie all came from like Mario Odyssey. Oh, and then Peach just dropping. There's a lot of galaxies out there, and I'm like,
Mario Galaxy.
I'm just sitting there. I go over to my little Wii collection here, and I'm like, hold on, let me pull off the shelf. I'm like,
oh no,
I'm like, are we talking about Mario Galaxy? Are you telling me if there's a sequel, we're gonna have a Rosalina? Because that little blue guy was a Luma. The star guy who just talked about
I was like, what
is
he from?
Yeah, I dropped on my week. Whatever, I'll get him later. Yeah, that little guy, he was a little Luma, and it just like she hinted at a lot of galaxies, and there's a lot of fan theories that like Peach like actually comes from a different galaxy, and Rosalina might be her mother. Well, I love that they hinted at that.
They dropped so many subtle things from all the different games. I love like when they had the map. They brought up the map and they were tracking Bowser. Like, where is he coming? I was like, that looks like it's from the originals, just like all the different islands and stuff you're going to.
The one map that they're pointing at, like the actual physical one, I think it was a Donkey Kong place maybe. Like it was the original like Super Mario World like world map.
Yeah,
I do like how they included the Donkey Kong, the Kong Kingdom or whatever, and it was like it wasn't too forced. Like, it made sense. Peach was like, all right, all I got are these stupid toads. I need to go get help from Bowser. Can we talk about Bowser?
Can we talk? Did you like or dislike Bowser?
I loved Bowser. I like Jack Black, and I just love how he is very angry, very mean, but he does have like that little bit of a soft side.
I was worried some people were gonna see that and be like, "This is stupid." I'm like, I thought it was funny. I thought it was good.
In the movie when he's like, playing his song and Kamek shows up and he's like, He pats his. He's like, "Come jam with me, brother." And then he yells at him and slams his.
Oh my god!
His under there.
May I lift the cover? No, pain is the best teacher. Just after he poured his heart out about how he loves Peach.
Dude, Jack Black is so freaking good at that. It's just and that stupid song. You know that song. That song technically can be nominated for an Oscar because it's an original song.
That's awesome. I hope it is.
Also, someone broke it down, and if you speed it up a little, it follows the same beats as why am I thinking the Rick Roll song that everyone plays?
Never Gonna Give You Up.
Yes,
that's hilarious.
And I'm like, did he know that? Did he? And
he's just like, I'm gonna take this beat and I'm gonna slow it to half speed.
And the funny thing about it is, I'm sitting here thinking, like, I would not be surprised if it won an Oscar because, like, my thought is, this is just my thought on everything. An individual person is a very intelligent creature, a lot of motives and a lot of good things in there, for the most part. A group of people is a very stupid creature, a very stupid organism that just follows each other, right? So a bunch of people could get together and be like, we're gonna, we want this to win an Oscar. Enough people say enough stuff. Yeah, they'll probably win an Oscar, even though it's Jack Black just saying peaches over
peaches,
and over again.
Peaches.
Peaches.
Well, I like that. First off, I thought he did an awesome job because if you didn't know, I didn't recognize it as Jack Black's voice. Mm-hmm. So if I didn't know ahead of time that was him, I'd have been like, who is this guy? Yeah. But I thought he did a good job. I liked how they incorporated his singing into that, but in like a funny way.
Yes.
Like a very subtle, like he didn't have like 20-minute long musical scenes. They're just like, all right, here's a quick little, let him sing. He can do it well.
I watched an interview where they said there was initially no plan for a song, but talking about that like softer side of Bowser, they wanted to have something like that. Yeah. So they contacted Jack Black, and he in the interview he's explaining, it's like, okay, so they said we want to do a song. So Jack Black was like, all right, give me, he coordinated some people, whip something up. He's like, I'll only do a song if I do it like this, which is the Peaches song. And then there's like on Jack Black's like TikTok or whatever, he's sitting there, he's like, in the year 2023, when we think of music, we're going to think of only a few things. Bowser, Peaches, Jack Black, or something like that. He was just like, and I just love that because I think most of the people in the film had fun with their roles. I will say my disappointment is we almost got half and half time of Mario and Luigi. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, I know they're going to do it. And they put Luigi, they like push Luigi back.
He definitely didn't have a huge role in it.
But like Mario and Luigi, you can like it's cool that Luigi landed in the dark lands, and that was a lot of that was reminiscent of like Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
where he's from. And then the Mario on the other side. I think they could have like done that dynamic, like switch back and forth just a little longer to give him time.
I think too what they might be, because Mario's been around for so long as
a
franchise.
They have to have Mario in the front. I get that.
Well, no, I was gonna say that like in the future they might have spin-off movies and sequels, and like so Luigi's Mansion could be its own movie.
Oh, I would love
and then
that.
Like you were saying, they could bring back all those other characters. Yoshi was like not even in he made a cameo appearance.
With all the Yoshis running by, yeah. And it's like eating the fruit, and Yoshi's like, it's not even Yoshi, just a...
Yeah, it was just like a pink, it was just a pink Yoshi staring across the river like, I want those apples.
But I do love just all the respect and just like, just little bits here and there of like, hey, this is from this game, this is from... And the whole time I'm sitting there,
in the
I'm like,
Mario Kart.
Like, this. Yeah, the kart section,
I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it's...
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, the Mario Kart section, especially when he's drifting and it turns purple. I'm like,
he kept drifting. He stopped and it shot him. I was like, oh, they were pulling directly from.
And I think what's very cool about this whole thing is that stuff like that for gamers, we looked at it and go, oh, that's that mechanic. That's that mechanic we've played with. But for anyone who doesn't play a game, just watching, it was just a standard scene. Like, oh, he's drifting, and he's drifted long enough that he's going to be able to get away from that giant machine. But for us, it's like, no, he's getting
just those little subtle things. Also, I want to point out, and this is a big spoiler and a prediction.
Yes.
So obviously, Mario Kart is getting a big makeover right now. They've been doubling the amount of courses.
Oh yeah.
Have you been playing the new ones?
No, I actually do not have the pack. I do need to get that because I need more Mario Kart.
It's cool. I enjoy it, but they're coming out with all these new. They released like the first half of them. Now they're on to the second half, and it was just courses at first, but now they're going to release more characters. I think the first one they did was Birdo, Mm-hmm. Kate lost her mind. She loves Birdo, so she's been playing.
Why does she love Birdo so much?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think it's just a character that she likes.
It's a Yoshi with a good gut.
Well, I told her, I was like, you realize that's why they get along. Is like she's got them DSLs and Yoshi's got that tongue.
And dude, back in the day, Birdo was a dude.
I don't think that would stop me.
Oh,
if I was Yoshi,
I'm just saying that was a.
Oh, your name's Steve?
Oh my gosh, that was a huge mosquito. Just out of the corner of the window, I see this thing fly up, and it's like one of those giant like mosquito mayfly things.
Okay, we're gonna get back to Mario, but also real quick, just because of speaking of outside, your driveway is full.
Yeah, I have neighbors now.
I know. I went to pull in, and I was like, Vogie truck no fit.
Vogie truck no fit.
So I parked way down there. I found an empty unit and parked in front of it. Yeah. I was just like, I don't think anybody will care that much.
Oh yeah, no, we got people all on either side now. It's funny because on either side, we're all gamers. These three. I don't know about the guy on the end, but like she's a gamer, he gamer. He plays like Siege, and I remember the one night he's screaming, "It's like you have a number in your gamer tag. What a nerd!" And he's just like screaming about it. Like he's having fun with his buds, not like being upset. Yeah. And I don't mind it at all because like definitely when I'm playing my games, I make stupid sounds. Yeah, parking lot's full.
It just threw me for a loop. Okay, but back to
Mario.
My prediction though, in the very very beginning when they were doing just the opening, like this is by Nintendo and Illumination, which I think is one of a production company owned by Nintendo.
No. That's the animation studio that.
Oh, okay.
Made it. You know. Were you paying attention? Was like Illumination Studio, the makers of, and it listed all the movies they made.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I figured they partnered with Nintendo enough. I didn't know if it was like a subsidiary of them or if it was just Nintendo's like, we like you because you did good work and we're gonna.
Well, a lot of people are like, why didn't Disney do it? Why didn't Studio Ghibli do it? And I was like, those are two really poor options.
Those are way different styles and universes.
Yeah, because Studio Ghibli does really good work, but
but they're so far from what Mario Brothers movie was going for.
Disney, and I was sitting there, I'm like, are you serious? Like Disney is pretty much nothing less than a competitor for like Nintendo.
Everything,
because like Disney has the market on like just the animated movie scene.
Yeah,
and I compared the two. Like Disney is a lot like Nintendo because they both like just kind of dominate their market in their family-friendly way, if that makes sense.
Disney is like a universe, though, whereas Nintendo's like, we game. Yeah. And I think this is just a small... I like how they did it. They tried to play it safe, but not in like a bad way. Mm-hmm. There's like, we're going to make this. We're just going to throw all these little subtle hints in for our gamers. It's going to be a fun... kid-friendly movie.
That's what it was. It was just a really fun movie. There was a lot.
I was like,
you
don't even need to know anything about it, and you could get the plot. You just have to. It's Mario. You have to take some of the stuff for granted, like you were talking about. Just like, why he's eating a mushroom, but then he got stronger. Okay, but as long as you can accept that fact, you can just move on through the movie.
Yeah, and I will say this is. Not even nitpick, but sort of a nitpick. Just like Peach's design on her face, her nose bothered me.
They pulled a very subtle trick on me during the movie, and it worked beautifully.
What they gave Peach a big ass, and he kept staring at it?
No, surpringly, no. However, my wife did notice that Mario had a very flat ass, and she kept making fun of me during the movie because she's like, "His butt looks like yours." I'm like, "Shut the fuck up." And everybody, did you see everybody's making fun of they're like, remember how the community came together and saved Sonic from that horrible animation? They're like, do it for Mario. And it was his ass. They had his giant plump ass from the game. And then they showed it in the movie and it was flat. They're like, we must save it. But no, they made a joke about Bowser about she had heart-shaped bangs.
Yeah.
And so every scene she was in, I immediately was just like, heart-shaped bangs. I wasn't even looking at her fucking face.
It's just her nose. And it's just such a little nitpick. It doesn't matter. But it was her nose was... Everyone else was like very, a circular
comically,
nose and stuff. And then she had a really defined human nose. And I was like...
I think they did that, though, on purpose. They were trying to make her seem other. Like
she
royal.
was human, but like definitely from somewhere else. And also, like you said.
She wasn't like the fat little Italian plumber guy. She was supposed to be like this beautiful princess. And
I do like how, I know like Mario saving Peach, Mario Peach supposed to be a couple, but I do like how there was absolutely no romance between the two and they were just friends.
I disagree.
I mean, there was a little bit.
There was definitely an undertone of like...
that's a way to say it, undertone. It's there.
It wasn't
it's
overt.
Not like,
there wasn't like some giant kiss at the end.
Yeah, they're just
or
like,
anything
they're
like that. Yeah,
they're friends. You know, that
He's
might
like,
be DTF sometimes.
They're flirting a little bit, but it was like in a comical way. So
Seth Rogen Donkey Kong shows up as like, "Is this you flirting?"
That was hilarious.
I do like how they let him do the laugh.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! The whole time I was like, I know who this is. Who is this? Who is this? He did his laugh, and I was like, oh, Seth Rogen. Okay.
Seth Rogen. Yeah. And I don't know. From my perspective, part of me was like, I want them to go a little deeper with the characters, but I have to like check my expectations. Be like, Brandon, you're watching a Mario movie.
It was like a PG Mario movie, so it was.
I'm just like, I do like, however, like when they're supposed to have that moment where Mario and Donkey Kong like kind of like become friends.
And they don't?
Yeah, and they don't, because like Donkey Kong's like, well, your dad's an idiot, and he's like, dude, leave me alone. Like,
he was like, oh
there
yeah,
was no resolution. They were just both mean to each other, and then they saw that. And they're like, all right, we're gonna work together.
My dad thinks I'm a joke, and Mario's just, yeah, my dad doesn't think I'm that great either. And Donkey Kong's just like, well, he's right. And you're just like, oh wow.
I will say at the very end of the movie when they finally get the like the superstar.
That was kind of...
Dude, I really absolutely love that, but also it's going to be very difficult for me to listen to the like the star theme in any of the games when it goes da, 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 because of like the way they orchestrated it, how it's like a few octaves higher. I'm like, that sounds so good. I was like, I don't know if I can listen to the original one now, because I want it a few octaves higher now. And you could hear it and you could recognize it. And Sid, the guy who was their rival that only showed up a few times. Spike. That's what I meant. Thank you. He was actually a character from Wrecking Crew in, I think that's what's called, and Mario it's a very old game. It only had one game where it's just like the whole objective was there's this giant tower and you had to break these bars and then like the tower break down.
I don't think I ever really played it, but I vaguely remember.
It was but he was like a character in that game, and it's just so cool how they're just pulling characters
all those little
all
subtle
over.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It was really fun, and I just recommend just go see it.
It was. I would say it was definitely worth a watch. You just if you're a fan of Mario in any way, it was cool. It kind of inspired me too, because I got for the Switch, I got that 3D All Stars game. I kind of wanted to. I was like, I never got to beat this as a child because I was too poor and I didn't have the 64 and I never had the chance to.
Mario 64.
So we used to play it at the grocery store chain. They had that kid drop-off area.
I remember that.
I would play it. I think I've mentioned it before on the podcast, but I always played it there, and I had a save file, but they never saved it. Other people would always delete it, and I was like, mother... I mean, as an adult, clearly it's not going to stay there, but as a child, that was heart-wrenching. So as a 30-year-old man, I bought it, and I was like, I'm going to beat it. And I got past the first room in there, and I was like, I crushed this. And I got through the door, and I was like... I don't think I ever made it this far as a child. This is massive. And I just kind of put it down. I haven't touched it since. Because I was like, I don't know where to go. There's so many more rooms.
Mario 64 is a timeless classic, yes. But like, I was playing on my Switch when I first got it. I can't play because of the controls. And
they're very weird.
Yeah, because what they did was like after that, Mario Sunshine, they nailed the control style.
I was like, I might just pretend I didn't start this game, and I'm just going to play the Sunshine and then Galaxy.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I have that, and I have that copy of Galaxy. Galaxy is probably one of my favorite Marios, next to like Sunshine and Odyssey.
I have Odyssey.
I remember when Odyssey first came out, I went to work with my Switch, and like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm playing Mario Odyssey. And at the job at the time, like, I was kind of in charge of a few very important things. They're all looking at me, and I'm like, listen, today's my paperwork day, so
don't bug me.
Yeah. And I'm just like playing Mario Odyssey. Like, I could have gotten in huge trouble for that, and I just didn't care. I'm like, I just want to play Mario Odyssey.
So my wife loves to play multiplayer games together, so we were doing it. It wasn't great for multiplayer because one person is
which
Mario Odyssey.
Oh, and one person's a cat.
And one person's the hat. And I was like, no. Because when she plays, she's not bad. I want to point that out right now. But she plays so different than how I play.
Is it because she's not thorough or because she is thorough?
It's because she is just all over the place. And I am just like, I'm just like, do this. no, do this. No, and I was like, but I can't control the character. I'm just the hat. And I was like, she's like, well, I want you to. I was like, no, just do this. And then we got to a boss fight, and she was just like, she's like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I kept telling her, I was like, we have to do this. So I, as the cap, can do whatever it was, and
Yes.
just this is where my gaming habit can be a problem because I was getting so frustrated because I was almost just like, just give me the bolt controller.
You just take it from her, like, give it to me.
And I'm just like doing, but
I'm
I
leaving.
didn't. We didn't. It's so I was like, okay, so we're not gonna play this one co-op together. I will play other games co-op with you.
Like
but
Mario 3D World. That's a great co-op one where it's like everyone's on the same screen.
Oh yeah,
with
yeah,
the cat
Bowser's
suit.
Fury.
Yeah, Bowser's
yeah,
Fury,
yeah.
all that.
That one was
that's
a lot
great.
of fun.
That's fun. But like, yeah, the standard Mario games, they need to just take out that. I understand they want to do it for families, like to get everyone involved, but
well, like they have so many good multiplayer games. The Mario Kart, Mario Party, like they have all these great ones. I was like, just leave them alone. She loves Paper Mario.
Paper Mario, yeah.
I think she loves that one. She was playing that for
the Origami King. Is that the one on the Switch?
Yeah.
Yeah, Paper Mario. The thing I really liked about the one on the N64, which I have sitting over there somewhere, is that it was like actually a legit RPG, and you could choose what stats to increase. And all the new ones after that, it's still an RPG, but it's
you get more items as power ups instead of stats as.
Yeah. So it doesn't mean it's like they're bad. It just that isn't my preference. I'd rather like have that traditional hardcore RPG experience, but really simplified.
I think that's why I liked Dark Souls so much, is just because that was like the epitome of RPG. Fight, you find equipment, put it in your stats, and God forbid if you level up something and don't like it, because you are stuck with it.
Yeah, and it's the same thing in Paper Mario.
Unless you dig super deep into the world and find a way to reset it, but...
Oh yeah, because that's an item, right?
I know in the third one you can do it.
I know in all the games like later, there's an item that can do that. They usually chuck in there, but it's hard to get.
Yeah, or I think there's some way you can do it in the first one, but it's expensive, or I can't remember exactly. But you gotta like explore. Yes. And you gotta do the characters right, or else they can disappear, and that option's gone.
I like how in the movie he was playing Kid Icarus also.
He's playing who?
Kid Icarus, Mario in the movie. After his dad was like, "You're a failure, son," and Mario's like, "I'm gonna go be a failure in my room." He's playing Kid Icarus.
Oh, that's what he was playing.
Yeah, that's Pit from Kid Icarus. That was another Nintendo game. I just like all those little things. I'm trying to while we were talking, I was trying to think if there's like any other characters that just kind of like popped up, and you were just like, "Oh hey, dude, if they make another one, I definitely want Wario in it." And
that's what I was thinking.
Who's gonna voice? Oh, Danny DeVito will be Wario. Duh. What was I thinking?
I don't. Do you think he would be a good Wario?
Yes.
That's fair.
Yes.
They got the same body shape.
Yes. And just the same persona. Because Wario is pretty much just Frank from It's Always Sunny, but a little family friendly. And like all his games are just so wacky and bizarre. Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing like Waluigi come in there too.
Yeah, I don't know. I think probably in the world they created, I think what they would do is they would like set him up as a rival plumbing company or something.
That's what I was thinking, something like that.
And they would get more business, and then it would just like they'd have to work together, but they would be like the frenemies almost, like they're enemies, but they will put aside their differences. Anything else you want to talk about the Mario movie?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. Overall, I'd recommend seeing it. I think it was cool.
I do.
My prediction. I'm sorry. The last thing. In the very beginning of the movie, when they were just doing the opening scenes and all that, they had a minion in a cart. So all those characters they're releasing, my prediction is one of them will be a minion.
Oh, for like Mario Kart. Okay.
Because I was like, that's kind of weird that like they're into the main movie now, but there's a minion in a go-kart. I was like, that.
I do like how he just like peeled out and he did not even cross the finish line. He's like, argh!
Yeah, he just peeled. I was like, that's weird. I was like, it weird in the sense I was like, why is a minion in the? I was like, oh, it's probably a sneak peek of there's going to be a minion character.
Well, no, that's the studio that made the movie. They made the minions.
I know, but
okay,
I also
okay. I totally understand.
I understand why. Because they just had a bunch of previews like for Minions and Despicable Me and all that. But I was like, but now that you're into the Mario movie, like the actual, this is the start. I was like,
oh yeah, probably in one of the things they'll release a character that's a minion.
And that's why I was just like, I wonder if that's just a subtle nod to all like the Mario Kart like gamers out there who are like, Okay, maybe he'll be in there.
Minion, little minion. Yeah. Oh god, it was a good movie. I do like at the end when they put Bowser in the cum jar. I really like that.
You leaned over and you said that, and that was fucking hilarious.
It's just at the very end, they shrink him, they throw him in. I'm like, they put him in the cum jar.
I was just like, oh my god, I could see it. That's torture.
They just set it there, and just one of the Toads is like, I'm gonna come.
There's like Toad's like, all right, I'm gonna go take my 5-minute break real quick, and Bowser's like,
it's like, I hate it here. But I do like how they just like, yeah, they shrunk him, and it like, and I do like how they didn't sequel bait, because I hate movies when they do that, because what if the movie does terrible and then you're sitting there like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was just like, it was wrapped up nicely. They defeated Bowser.
Well, there's plenty of room for a sequel, but they weren't like, okay, we're gonna have a sequel and it's gonna be based on this.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool.
I don't know if there's an after credit scene like Mario and Luigi will return for Smash Brothers or something, but dude, if they did all that, like they did all like this Marvel
they're gonna
Cinematic
go the
Universe.
Disney, yeah, they're gonna do the cinematic universe, bring all the characters in. It's just
so there'll be an F-Zero movie, a Kirby movie.
Yeah.
Dude, I would
be hilarious.
I would lose my mind for Legend of Zelda. Do you see the new Legend of Zelda trailer for the new Tears of Kingdom? Dude, I gotta tell you,
I haven't even played Breath of the Wild.
Okay, I'm gonna take a moment to like rant about it for a little bit, and you're just gonna be quiet. Okay, so the new trailer comes out, and it just starts dropping these little hints everywhere, and you're just like really just absorbing everything because we've heard nothing about the game.
So real quick, is this a sequel to the Breath of the Wild?
Yes, it's a sequel. Yes,
because they came out with Breath of the Wild 2 already, didn't they?
No. Why would the Tears of the Kingdom is Breath of the Wild 2?
Okay.
You know nothing about Zelda. That's why I said stay over there and be quiet. And it's dropping all these subtle hints, and like we saw some gameplay, and like you can really just get an idea of just all the options of things you'll be able to do. Like there's a building mechanic where you just like slap things together. Like you can have a weapon and you just like slap it. In the one of the gameplay things, they're like, oh, you have a stick, you want a longer stick, so you could just glue two sticks together. But then like people are speculating like, so take the Master Sword and put a stick on the end of it and be like, ha ha, like, and you can do that with almost everything in the world. So imagine that along with all the intricacies of the original game with floating islands and the ability to go up there and create flying machines and stuff. This game's going to be massive, but narratively, like the trailer builds and builds and builds to the point, like when there's a saxophone solo in the like trailer that is so damn good, and everyone's losing their mind over it because it's just like Legend of Zelda, but like someone brought out a saxophone, like, hey, look, I got goosebumps from thinking about it.
How long is this trailer? You really did get goosebumps.
It's only like 3 minutes, and that's literally I was watching that before you got here, and I'm just sitting here, just like just crunk into it, tears running down my face as the saxophone guy's like, and it's blasting. And I've never heard like a saxophone be played in like kind of this like very grandeur, very like
kind of almost epic
whimsical adventure. And I'm just like, that's really good. I don't know. I just wanted to throw that in the podcast somewhere.
That's all right.
It's wonderful.
I had a similarly momentous trailer that I watched, but I had the opposite reaction because I watched a trailer for The Elder Scrolls 6 and it was so well done that I was like, oh my god, it's coming out finally. Like I didn't know there was any like gaming conventions they must release this. I was freaking the fuck out. And then I noticed that it was 2 years old. And all of the comments were like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Why would you do this? Why would you do this? And a dude didn't even make it to like... And then I looked at the thing and it was a concept trailer. He was like, the guy wanted to show like what it could be. And I was like, don't play with my emotions. Because it popped up like when I was browsing something and it was like something you might like. Because I Google a lot of Elder Scrolls stuff. So I was like, oh my god, a trailer. It showed me a fake trailer from 2 years ago.
You know what's sad is that fake trailer is probably better than what they're going to release.
I almost cried. I'm not kidding. I almost fucking cried because I was like, no, it was there. There was the end was in sight. I was so angry.
I'm so sorry you had to experience that because I've had similar experiences and then I've just been absolutely crushed.
Okay, So we are gonna get into the D&D, but I think this is a nice little kind of segue. We'll slither like a snake through it a little bit.
What kind of segue?
So I did start playing Skyrim again because I got the anniversary edition, and I've been having fun just re-exploring the world with like new armors and weapons.
Right,
and quests.
right.
So that's been fun. But moving on from even that, I was like, well, obviously the Elder Scrolls 6 is still like 30 years away, but I'll need the next gen consoles. So I've kind of been bugging my wife, like, I really want to get one. Like,
yeah, get the Xbox.
I was like, if I get some overtime in, or if we get like a nice bonus or something, like, can I really want to get one. I was like, I know you are very fiscally responsible. These are super expensive. I was like, but
I also think that's great that you like talk to your wife about it instead of some husbands that would just do it. And
yeah, I'm not going to go drop $500 and just not tell her.
Oh yeah,
she would kill me.
Oh
and
yeah,
she is definitely more of the money person in our relationship. I would argue that she probably spends more, but she spends more on a lot of like stuff that's actually like useful.
Yeah,
like,
useful and actually.
She needs like work clothes, so she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go spend a bunch of money." She's like, "But it's for work clothes. Like I do need these, or like
that's
gardening stuff, so we can have like fresh food over the summer."
Exactly. Yeah, like very
not like video games.
I was about to say you get a video game and you're like, I plug it in. What does it contribute? It makes me happy.
It makes me happy. My laughter is the gift.
My laughter, the gift.
But anyway, so she kept saying no for a while, and I was like, "This is weird," because like, obviously we've had things where like, no, we shouldn't do this, but she was like adamant. No. She was just like, "No, that's too much. Stop talking about it." I was like, "That's a little like out of character for you."
Yeah.
But then finally, the one day I was like, "Hey, we had a really good quarter. They're giving us some profit sharing. Can I put? I really want to put some of this money away." I was like, "I know we're trying to pay down some bills and stuff." I was like, but this is enough that I can put a big chunk away. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'll work a few Saturdays. In like a month, I'll have the money for this.
Yeah.
And she was like, God damn it. And I was like, what? Like, I'm sorry. I really want. And she's like, no. She was super sweet. She has like a rewards program at work. They get, I think, recognition points.
Yeah.
They bank them and then they can buy stuff with them. She'd been saving all her points because she was going to buy a bunch of GameStop gift cards so I could go and get it.
Your wife's
and she was
sweet.
like, I wanted it to be a surprise. And I was like, it is a surprise.
Yeah, because when you were saying that, I'm like, that's not like her.
It did.
I'm like, what is up with her?
That's why I was like a little upset over it. I was like, normally you give a reason. You're like, maybe we'll do it for Christmas or maybe like, but she was just adamantly like, no, shut the fuck up about it. And I was like, that's weird, but okay.
Dude, at least,
So it's been a roller coaster. So I was like riding high because I was like, that's awesome. So she cashed in her points. She got like $400 worth of GameStop gift cards. Nice. GameStop didn't have any.
Oh, yeah.
Period. There was like one online, and I was like, oh, well, we don't have the gift cards yet, but there's some available around here. Like, I'll be good. Next week, all gone. When we had the gift cards, gone completely. Couldn't find them anywhere. So I was pissed. So then I was like, oh, okay, I found a workaround. We bought some Microsoft gift cards with the GameStop gift cards, and I ordered it directly from Microsoft.
Oh, so you like actually were able to order it.
So I ordered it.
And it's like on its way?
This was all, here's a big spoiler, this was all a month ago.
Oh, God.
So I got it, and I was over the moon. We got the Game Pass for it. I got my warranty on it. I was like, this is fucking great. The one game we both wanted, like right up front, was Hogwarts Legacy. So she wanted the deluxe release edition or whatever. Yeah. Well, they didn't have a copy, so we got a digital download for it. I got it. We downloaded that. I downloaded some of the Game Pass games because like, this is going to be great. We start up Hogwarts Legacy. The cinematics are awesome. The gameplay, everything looked so cool. 30 seconds in, the Xbox shuts off.
No.
I not since I was a teenager with raging hormones did I ever come that close to throwing a controller out of an actual glass window.
So, did it just break?
So we turned it back on. I was like, I don't know what happened. It happened like 3 more times in a row. Like we get halfway through the opening scene into a gameplay and it shuts off. It doesn't even crash and freeze. The Xbox shuts off.
Oh my God.
I'm getting angry just thinking about it again. So I was Googling it. I was like, this has been out long enough. Maybe this is a known thing. Maybe there's a fix.
Yeah.
They're like, maybe it's overheating. Maybe this, maybe that. So we screwed with it for like 3 hours. And finally I was like, fuck this. I downloaded a different game, tried it. It played fine for a little bit. So I was like, okay. I was like, Kate, you look through, you find a game. I was like, I'm angry. I don't want to be because it's supposed to be a nice gift. I was like, find a game you want to play. She found one that she's now addicted to. Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Oh, that's like Animal Crossing, but with all the Disney characters, right?
Yeah, but a lot. She
like there's like goals and things you can work
she hated
for,
Animal Crossing. I shouldn't say hated.
it
wasn't
wasn't
enough.
her type because like the
She
game
needs goals.
Yeah,
she needs
exactly.
something to work towards, and
the goal has to be given. You can't make like she doesn't like to play to make her own.
She
goal.
likes
Totally
the sense of like, oh, I accomplished this and I'm building up my stuff. And but anyway, so she's addicted. So we bought it for the Switch for her too.
Okay.
But she played that for like 8 hours.
Was it just the game?
It was just the game, and I couldn't figure it out. So because I bought the warranty, I filed a claim and I sent it back. I was like, hey, this isn't working.
Fix it.
Yeah.
Fix it, Microsoft.
I was
Get your act together.
Well, I sent it back. I think it's on its way back. And I think there might have been something wrong with it because they're sending me a different Xbox back.
Yeah, there was something wrong with it.
So I'm hoping that fixes it, but I was trying to get a refund for the game too.
Yeah.
But it's a digital download. So
that's the thing with digital. Unless it's like on Steam, like they don't do refunds.
GameStop was flat out like, we don't do that. And I was like, but it doesn't work. They're like, it's right in our policy. The girl was very nice. I don't want to blame the worker, but I was just like, that's kind of messed up. Like, I just dropped like $70-$80 on this.
I mean, as long as you have the same profile, you should be able to download it again. Because whenever you purchase something like that, it's
we could do it. My fear though is that something's wrong with the software that I downloaded, and I mean, I did everything. I uninstalled it. I uninstalled my profile. I factory reset the Xbox and like re-downloaded everything from scratch, and it still didn't work.
There's sometimes that's just stuff that happens, which sucks. But like
Microsoft basically told me to go fuck myself when I requested a refund through them.
Oh yeah,
because I was like, hey, like this didn't work, and honestly, all I wanted was the money back so I could go and buy a hard copy disc. I was like, I'm gonna just bypass all this and buy a hard copy.
Yeah,
that's why I could have had the Series S forever ago. But I wanted the X for the discs just in case. But
yes, imagine that if you got a Series S and that same thing happened, and you're just like, okay,
so angry. But anyway, we're gonna get it back, and if it doesn't work, I'm just gonna chalk it up to a bad situation because there's all the Gears of War and all the Halos, and that's all I want to play on the Xbox. It's been like a decade since I could play them.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, obviously, but like now new games, I'll be able to play.
Yeah, you'll be able to play new games.
I gotta get Cyberpunk. I've been dying to play that.
Mm-hmm.
But I might buy the Xbox One version and then just buy the upgrade thing to
the
Series X.
Yeah, there's a way you can work around that. Like the upgrade would be for free. So if you can find like an Xbox One copy of it really cheap and then just upgrade through it. Yeah, I think CD Projekt Red's pretty solid about. They're usually pretty good.
So so it is supposed to be coming back soon. So I am now. I've upgraded a little bit thanks to my wife. I'll have an Xbox Series X to play some stuff on.
Shout out to
I was
your
so
wife.
Happy. I felt so bad because I was so upset, but I was upset over the whole thing is because she wanted the game. She was so excited for the game, and I was like, obviously I'm gonna like it, but to me it wasn't world ending. But she was so angry. She was like, I got you such a shitty gift and this and that. Blah. I was like, that's not.
That's not what happened. It just.
I know, but that's how shut. So I felt
it's just a
horrible. Fluke. That's why I was, because she's like, you were so mad, and I was like, well, I was pissed because you were sad. Like that's what I like. You did this awesome thing, and you were so excited, and then it was.
That's a fair
I don't blame her for being. She had every right to be upset. I felt bad, but anyway, it's coming back. I already told her. I was like, we'll try it. I said if it doesn't work, I don't care. Like, I'm not gonna worry about it. Because there are so many other games. And
also, you could just like wait for another paycheck and just buy another one.
Well, that's why I told her. I was like, eventually, like if we really need to, I'll find a used copy of the disc and we'll just go from there. Because we'll still have all the digital, the
unlocks
stuff.
For that stuff.
I was like, it's on my profile. We got it.
It's just how are you going to be able to play it? Okay, can we talk about D&D now?
Yes, that was all I wanted.
I've been sitting here like tightening my sphincter to talk about that movie.
I know, I've been taking up all our time, but I'm also dying because this is all about my favorite book series and just the world. I've never played the game D&D, but I love the universe through the video games and the movies and the shows and books. I can't fucking wait. This was my nerd wet dream come to life.
So what'd you think of it?
I fucking loved it. Probably top 3 of my favorite movies of all time now.
Of all time?
Lord of the Rings is obviously always going to be number one.
Yeah.
But I am truly torn between. So I'm gonna say the John Wick series is probably now my number 2, just because I love that series so much. Yeah. But I am torn between Warcraft and D&D for my third favorite.
Dude, it's so weird because I got the same vibe from the D&D movie I got from the Warcraft movie where it was...
Well, they took the world and they didn't fuck with it. They're just like, here's our world, here's our playground, here's our rules. Live inside of it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure somebody's going to be like, well, they didn't do this right or that right. I'm like, I understand. But for cinema and for movie, they stayed within the bounds as much as they could.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Will I say it's a good... No, here... All right, how do I put this?
Tread carefully.
Oh, I know.
Tread carefully.
I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of fun to be had, and I do like the setup of it. I think the acting was bad.
Oh, yeah, the acting was god-awful.
Yeah.
The only people
everything else about it was, like, solid.
It was funny,
and good.
though.
Yeah, I think what they did was, like, they teetered that line of, like, you know, making a few jokes here and there. And I'm, like, tilting my head. I'm like, they should have just gone straight, like, full Guardians of the Galaxy, where it was, like, action comedy almost. Because they... I thought they had
a pretty good mix of that.
Oh, yeah. But they teetered the line where it was, like, almost like they're not doing enough, if that makes sense.
Enough comedy?
Enough comedy, but that's just... Okay, the two actors, the tiefling and then the mage. Why do they keep getting work? Can you tell me that? Why do they keep getting jobs? Why?
They don't... You mean the change girl, whatever,
yeah,
the owlbear?
Yeah, the tiefling.
Okay, I didn't realize
she's a tiefling.
I didn't realize that was the name.
Get your shit together, Eric.
I have not come across anybody like that in the books or games.
I'm probably saying it wrong, but yeah, they're like you know, kind of like not lizard people, like kind of a drag, because she had a tail and like little horns and stuff, and they're usually shapeshifters or known to be that.
Well, they kept saying druid, and I was like, I don't think she is a druid. A druid is technically different because they follow a specific god and they use certain types of magic.
No,
and she didn't
druids
do that.
Can shapeshift.
Druids can shapeshift, but they usually have one animal that they have an affinity with that they change into. She could change into anything.
But I mean, also if you play actual D&D, you could change into anything.
Well, invite me to your fucking D&D group.
Hey, listen, I'm trying to get the thing set up. Like, I'm so close. It's so frustrating. It's like we have the thumbnail art, we have the opening music, we have everything. I'm like, I just need someone to sit here and teach me. Hey, idiot. This is what you do to set everything up. And I have a guy coming over soon to get that done. Because I got that big old thing so we can get more people. So
keep your ears peeled. Which I also feel like I should somewhat, very quickly, while we're doing, address the big gap in time.
I don't...
Or we could just skip it?
I mean, you can. Just, I was sick for most of it.
You were sick. I went on vacation the 1 week, which is what tripped it all off.
And then I was just sick through that whole thing.
I got back... from that vacation, and I went into work, and shit fell apart very quickly that first week. I was down a person, so I have been... It's been hell. It's been hell the past, month. But there's some end in sight, so... But anyway, yeah. So, welcome back, our beautiful voices, and our even more beautiful faces that you can't see.
Exactly. I was sick because I just found out that I got that, the erythriticitis or whatever.
Icky-ticky-itis?
The diametricalitis, the diatricomalitis, whatever it is, the thing that, mess up your intestines.
Yeah, you can't have seeds.
Yeah, any kind of seed. And, dude, peanuts are also not good, and that's my favorite snack. So, for, weeks, I was, sick.
Can you have peanut butter?
I haven't tried peanut butter. I did almond butter, and it was fine. But I don't... It's something about the peanut, and I was so bummed out because I love peanuts. That's my bedtime snack. And I love them, and I'm sad. Well, I have not gone through and tried tree nuts, but how sick I was, I don't want to try anything.
That's fair.
I'm terrified.
Yeah.
Because there was a pain in the bottom of my stomach at all times. I felt sick all the time.
Your body just can't digest that shit.
Yeah. So it's that and tomato. So yeah, that's why I was sick. The minute I stopped eating peanuts, I'm like, wow, I feel okay. I don't feel like I'm going to shit myself or puke up everything. And it got so bad, I was burping up peanuts from days ago, and I'm like, what is happening? Can we talk about D&D again?
Yes, I was waiting. I was gonna let it be this weird, awkward 30-second silence, and I was like, so back to D&D.
Did you get your stuff out? The acting for those two characters was bad. I do really like the dynamic between.
I didn't think they were that bad though.
Chris Pine. The thing is, they were better from their older movies, but I still don't think they're
the sorcerer. I don't really remember. I don't think I've seen him in a lot of stuff.
He was like Detective Pikachu, which
I thought he was really good in that too.
He did fine. I don't know. There's just it's just the same voice, no inflection, no like. It just kind of he's just like
a very monotone kind of. But I think that was supposed to be like him and his character for 90% of the movie.
Maybe I just don't like him. Maybe I just don't like him.
That's fair.
I don't know. Also, the other girl, I don't like her because she was in Stranger Things. Everyone loses their mind about that show. Yeah, she was.
No.
Yeah, that was the redhead girl. No, or was it it?
It was it. She was in it.
Dude, they're the same exact thing. Don't tell me they're not. It and Stranger Things
this
are
podcast
the same
is
thing.
Over.
All right, here's the door. There's the door, bitch. Get out.
Oop. No, I really liked both the It movies and I liked Stranger Things.
I'm not a fan of Stranger Things. I couldn't get past season 2.
Season 1 was so good.
Yes, and season 2,
season 2 was different. Seasons 2 and 3 were kind of weird.
When they introduced that kid with the bowl cut, it ruined the show for me.
Kid with the bowl cut.
The one who disappeared in the first show.
And when they brought him back, yeah, he's been kind of a weird character arc.
Yeah, he's just a bizarre little.
He's kind of like it's kind of hard to watch.
Yeah. Like, all right, so
it was good in the first series because you're like, oh my god, he's this little kid, he's lost, he's being tortured, whatever. Like that was fine because it's like, oh, it's a sympathetic character, but there's a happy ending. He's back, yada yada yada. Yeah. But then the rest of the series, he's just a whiny bitch.
Yeah,
it's like it's not.
Look what these two actors are doing. They're pulling us away from D&D because
of
how bad they are.
They're not that terrible.
They aren't that terrible. I'm just like, they're acting.
Well, no, and that's fair, especially if you expect them to be a certain way.
Like Chris Pine's character and Helga. Olga.
She was Tribe of the Elk. You know who else was Tribe of the Elk? Wolfgar Dragonsbane.
Yeah, there was just... And for you especially, they were dropping those little things. Like, here's the thing. Here's my final take on the movie. It was fun. It was good. But I just think the acting, I don't know, maybe it was the way it was written. I just think it could have been a little
I will say,
better.
So there was the two main villains. Again, spoilers for this movie too. The Red Wizard girl, I thought she was a phenomenal actress.
Oh, yeah. She was creepy.
Yeah, so she did really well. It was the other dude, the con man. He was just kind of, he's a famous actor. I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But I don't think his acting was bad. I just didn't like the character.
Yeah, I mean, he did his character well, just being a smug, very charismatic, just con man.
I didn't like that writing, though. I thought he could have been a little bit darker of a con man, if that makes any sense. Like, charming and everything, but I think they could have shown that juxtaposition more. Yes. Like, they only had one scene where he's like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. It's like, well, it would have been nice to see that switch.
Right.
Because when you're a con man, it's an act.
Yeah, like, slowly switch over time, like... Maybe like there's a scene of like someone found him out and he's not one to usually kill, but he like kills the person.
Well, like when
then you slowly see that transformation.
The very first time they found him after they escaped and all that, and he was like, "Oh, ha 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 ha! You got trapped in the floor, and this is terrible." It would have been nice for him to just be like, "Man, shut up."
That's why.
It's a story though from you.
Is it my story?
Yeah.
This is the one when I'm sitting in a bar yesterday and I'm like, I hate it here.
Maybe. I haven't watched him yet. But it would have been nice for him to be like, ha ha ha. But when he's like, send them back to prison, it would have been nice if he was like, ha ha ha, you're in the floor, ha ha. And then just turn around and just stone-faced, you should have stayed in prison. Now I'm going to kill you. And then just walked out there. Instead, he was just like, send them back. And then the Red Wizard of Thay, she was the one who was like, all right, kill them. But yeah,
here's the thing I do like about the movie is how every single plan they tried failed. Just like in regular Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. Dude, we were playing...
Do you think that was a subtle nod to D&D
players? Definitely. Definitely. Because we were... the campaign I'm playing with my friends, we were playing it. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, this is exactly like the game. We come up with a plan, we always fail, and then we always have to like just figure out what to do next. Like in our recent campaign... There was like, we had to go to this coffin shop and there was these boxes there. And our one person just like, oh, I'm going to go look in the boxes. And me and the other character, me and the other player, are talking to the NPC, the guy who made the coffins, trying to figure out like, hey, have you come across bones? Shipment. So she opens a box and all these vampire little thralls come out. So we have to go duke it out with them. And then he's freaking out because like, I told you not to open the boxes. So I have this like, so our plan was just to ask him some questions, but she decided to sneak upstairs and snoop around, and then we got in the combat. So then we had to think on the fly. So I had this like pie that makes you trip balls. So I jammed it in the guy's mouth so he would trip balls so we wouldn't have to deal with him. And then we went up and fought. Like, I really enjoyed that aspect because every time they got to the end of the plan, something happened. Like, oh, we just screwed up. All right, what's the next plan? I did like that element where it's like fail, 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 fail. And then finally they were just like, we succeeded, I guess.
Well, that's what I liked so much that I liked the subtle play on like how everybody got stronger, quote unquote, like how the sorcerer got better by the end and strong. So that little subtle nod of like work hard, grind, level up your character. But I also just liked how, so there was the game aspect of it, but I just liked the world that was built, how they lived in it. Like Thay in the books, the Red Wizards of Thay are super evil, and it's just like everybody's like, stay away.
Yeah.
I think Zaslin, I can't even remember his name, but the main evil guy that she was supposedly serving, pretty sure he's in like the books, like as the actual head ruler.
I also do like how it was a smaller contained story, that they were just saving that city.
Neverwinter, I think there's a game out about Neverwinter based on D&D.
I mean,
I think it's free to play.
There's a bunch of like Neverwinter, Baldur, like they were dropping those names and just like it was just so cool how
it did make me laugh a little bit.
It wasn't like we're saving the world. It was just like
just this city,
and they were just like, oh, crap, we got it. Like they were getting away on the boat, and I was like, that was a little. Are they gonna really?
Oh, I
just
knew
leave?
As soon as they left, I was like, that's not gonna.
They're gonna be bad.
Unless
if I was playing in that scenario, I would have left.
Oh,
I'm like,
hell yeah!
I'm
like,
totally,
we're rich beyond our wildest dreams.
Seriously,
peace out. That city can die.
It was a tad predictable though with the tablet of awakening or whatever.
As soon as they did the scene with the dragonfly, and she's like, "If you love it, you gotta let it go." I was like, "Oh, she ain't coming back."
She ain't coming back, and I was like, I forget.
There was a second time they did it in the fight. You heard like the stereotypical knife noise of somebody getting stabbed. Yeah. You heard it when she went up and grabbed her. Like as soon as that happened, I was like, "Oh, she just got stabbed." And
They're
then
gonna bring her back.
They didn't even show it. The fight went on for like 5 more minutes, and you didn't see her. I was like, she definitely got stabbed. She's gonna die, and then they're gonna use the tablet on her.
What is so fascinating about the movie is like it's literally, how do I put it? There's just these little It teeters at the same time as I said in the other movie. It teeters on like being really kind of like a well-made movie and not, which kind of like the Warcraft movie. I love the Warcraft movie, and I think I love this movie the same exact way. Where just
because it was so over the top, immersed in the world. Like the Warcraft movie, you had the oversized weapons, the oversized armor.
Oh yeah.
Like I loved that kind of goofy aspect. As like a
but also like
choice.
The main character in that movie, terrible actor.
Travis Kimmel, I think. We're talking Warcraft.
Yeah,
right?
we're talking Warcraft. It's just
I love him as an actor though.
For me, like these movies, if you like, even if the movie's crap, if you have solid actors, like I can get into it. I think Chris Pine did a good job, and I think I forget her name, Rodriguez. I forget her first name. Maria, maybe something like that. They both did great. I love their dynamic. How they were like brother sister, not like. It wasn't a love interest.
What's wrong with my lips? They're too small.
I think, and the bickering was good. The bickering was good between all the parties. And also he noticed like, all right, she's upset, but I'm just going to sing instead of like asking, okay, what's wrong? Why is, tiny little Bradley Cooper making you sad?
They brought him on. I was like, is that fucking Bradley Cooper? They made him a halfling?
He's just a tiny little halfling. And then like, of course the halfling goes after the barbarian women like, brother, you know what you want.
Yeah, and then an even bigger barbarian woman.
Yeah, and it's like, are you happy? It's like, yeah, I am happy. And it's just like this tiny little dude who's just like death by Sanusi. He's living the dream, baby.
He is.
He's living the dream.
I will say, I'm the opposite though, as far as like, if there's bad acting, if the movie and the story and the world is well crafted enough, I'll forgive bad acting.
Yes. Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, they're goofy, but also like you said, the 2 main actors I thought did great.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can forgive the supporting characters not being as good.
Yeah.
I can.
And especially that one random dude. Well, actually, no. I
loved him.
What was his name? Because he was so he did a good job, but he was so pious, high and mighty.
He was a paladin. They were making fun of paladins because they're so boring.
Yes, yeah.
I love that though. I was
gonna say, I'm glad he was there. I'm glad he didn't stay because he would have made the movie boring.
I agree. The scenes that he was in was perfect, and then he left, and I was like, is great.
That scene when he's walking towards the rocks, like,
is he gonna walk around?
Right over the rock.
He just went straight over it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like Chris Pine's character, the Bard, he could have had a little more banter. A little like I think it would have done his character good with a little more like comedic banter like that. Because bards are always the carefree, and that's what he was. He was a bard.
Yeah,
the whole time.
I don't know. Overall,
I do like the movie, I think it was a lot better than the old Dungeons and Dragons movie. You see that? That thing's a nightmare.
I don't think I even really
it's
want to.
It's awful.
I think that the movie might have had its shortcomings, but it made up for it so well in other areas.
Oh yeah,
visually, it was stunning. The one thing I wish they would have done more, and I think they gave a subtle nod to it when they went into the Underdark. I was pumped. I was like, Dark Elves. I was like, are they going to go to like the super sadistic Dark Elf city or something? And I think they showed Menzoberranzan.
Yeah.
When they went down, because it was like the pyramidal structures.
Oh my gosh! And those little brain things, I love those.
That was.
And they were just like, they will attack. They will.
If the intelligence is high enough, they're more likely to attack. And they just walked right by.
And they're like, well, that's insulting.
But then they walked right past the Dark Elf city, and the Underdark is a world in and of itself. Like, one of my favorite books, it was an offshoot of the main Companions of the Hall series.
Yeah.
But it took place in there, but it was a group of dark elves going to do something. And they made it to the surface a few times, but the majority of it was in the Underdark, going to another dark elf city and all these other things. It was so cool. And I was like, I understand why it was supposed to take place in Neverwinter. They had to do that. But I was like, oh, that would have been so cool to look at.
That chonky dragon, I love him.
That was hilarious.
He must be protected at all costs. I just like that.
Bring him back.
It's like, it moved its den. Did he eat the other one? Like, he's this huge fat dragon. I'm like, that is the pudgiest dragon they are.
They made the joke as soon as it came out. They were like, that is a thick dragon.
Yeah, that is a pudgy dragon. And then when it dropped, it just slid on its belly because it was
My wife leaned over, or Kate leaned over during it. She's like, is that dragon supposed to be fat? And they started making the jokes. I was like, oh yeah, he is.
Yeah, it's supposed to be fat. Yeah. And I do, because the thing is, like, I talked a lot of crap on it. Not crap, but it's just like shortcomings. It's more the actors. But like, I do enjoy how the story was told when it was like, okay, they go to, where's the helmet? They're asking the things, and it's showing the recreation of the battle, and then they died, and there was some humor. And like, when he like opens up the casket, the guy's only half of him.
He's like, damn it.
And then like asking, the questions, and it just like those little like, was that a question? And it was just
the first one?
A question.
That was hilarious.
Dude, yeah.
Did that count as a question? Yes.
And the funny thing is, like, a lot of those situations, when you play D&D, you've had those when you like accidentally ask something and someone's like, your DM's like plays with it, and you're like, oh crap. or like when he comments like, why did you say okay? Actually, now that I review it, like that actor, the sorcerer guy, like I said, I don't like him. He isn't my favorite. He did better than I'm giving him credit for, but his acting, he's got a ways to go until he.
I think part of it too is his character wasn't super likable, because his whole character arc was a stereotypical. I can't do it. I suck. I'm bad. I'm terrible. And at a certain point, like, I did like it at the end though when he started just kicking ass.
Yeah, because
that part was cool.
Because he got that confidence. I think it maybe could have been told just a tiny bit better. Just
I think
in the
they
way
could have.
Of, maybe he was really powerful, but he had no idea how to control it. And he had a lot of situations where he was like going to hiding because like he's like, oh, I'm gonna try to help, and then like blows up a city or something. You know what I mean?
I think it would have been better too if he would have got that confidence like halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
And then the second half, you see him like, no, I can do this, and he like start instead of like the last little bit. But overall, I would say still one of my favorite. And maybe I'm biased because I love that universe so much.
Yeah.
I'm more based, I would say, on the Sword Coast, where they kind of first, like, Baldur's Gate, Waterdeep, Waterdeep.
Waterdeep, Balls Deep.
Balls Deep in this. Baldur's Gate is in the middle. Waterdeep is the northern city, and then there's Kalimshan. I can't remember the name of the city, but there's one way down in the desert down south. Like, that coast is where a lot of, like, the books and games I play take place.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool to see him travel east and kind of explore those realms a little bit.
Right.
They, in the very beginning when they were escaping the prison and they zoomed out, and I was like, Icewind Dale, I know this place. They did Kelvin's Cairn, the
My favorite bit is when they escape. They're like, we were gonna pardon you,
but we approved your pardon.
And then they fly out the bird. And I like how at the end the guy tried to do it again,
and they just walled off.
And he's like, oh, I didn't know what came over me. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it was, both those were they were enjoyable. They were good movies. Like,
I liked them.
Please don't take anything I say, because everyone has their own preferences. Well, and what they want. It was just that was my preference. I'm like, it was fun, enjoyable. It just some of the acting was just kind of like.
I think the world was so immersive and cool that if you like D&D and you like Faerun and that world and everything, I think you'll be able to look past the acting.
Oh yeah,
pretty easily.
Oh yeah,
and just enjoy the story for what it is. The fight scenes were pretty cool. The armor and the costumes and everything were awesome. So I still like how she got the axe and then she dropped it in the lava and she pulled it out and she's like, I don't hate this.
Yeah,
and she just kept going.
Or I do like...
That's how legendary weapons are born.
I do like how she was with the one time she was saying like, oh, she could go in as a deer, right? And everyone made fun of her.
So she did become a deer.
Only at the end. It was very fun though. Like, it was fun. It was enjoyable. I really enjoyed it. But like, yeah, the acting, and I just have a nitpick here and there. Mario movie, like, I'm like, this is a kids movie. Obviously, it can be made for kids.
Well, it's also a little bit easier because you're not physically acting in there.
Yeah.
So it's the voice can, even if your voice might be a little bit more monotone, they can animate their face and stuff, so they can offset it a little bit.
Oh yeah, and I mean, honestly, with like AI technology now. Like, they could, like, oh, this line wasn't delivered, pitch shift, move this, and it just, like, perfect.
you can change that in post, and it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot harder in person. But, yeah, both movies were solid. I really enjoyed them both.
One last thing, I think one of my favorite scenes in the D&D movie, though, is when he was casting the illusion spell of him singing the lute.
Oh, my gosh.
And his foot got stuck, and they just...
And it was pretty much just like a video game glitch where the eyes like peel back in the head.
His head started sinking into his shoulders and his eyes were getting huge. And the guards were like, "What the fuck?
What is happening?" Yeah, and that's just how the game plays. You try something and like,
in
your head, it's like every time it fails, like, okay, roll to see if you can do that, and then you're like, oh, I got one. Okay, so it's like then the DM's just like, oh yes,
now we have plan C and D. Isn't plan C just plan B?
Yeah, but B has other steps too. It's just there's that confidence and just like with his character. Yeah, and I don't know. I'm the type of person like I don't want a love story in these things anymore. Like don't.
I like it. I do like it. If it's done well. I don't like it when it's the main point. Like, I'm going to assault this castle to save the love of my life. Like, no, make it like a side thing. Like kind of
like the sorcerer and the tiefling. Like, that was
That was like a side thing. Like, he was like, hey, I don't suck anymore. Can we go out? She's like, yeah, we'll give it a shot. Like, that was cool.
Yeah.
I reference always because it is, you just will never do better. Lord of the Rings, the Peter Jackson trilogy.
Yep.
Aragorn and Arwen. It was a side thing.
Yeah.
Like, it was scenes, it explained a little bit of the backstory and what she was doing, but it was very limited. Until the very end, when he's king, and he's like, oh, I have my queen. It's not just some random woman coming out of nowhere.
Right. Exactly.
So, although, I do... Anything else you want to say on D&D?
No, because we're at the wrap-up point. I was just going to start wrapping up.
Well, last thing on Lord of the Rings is I did see a meme that I was laughing like crazy. It was like that kind of... very hyper-realistic anime style, like web cartoon or something.
Okay,
and it was a guy and a girl, and the guy's like, I really liked Rings of Power. I thought Rings of Power was a lot better than the Jackson original trilogy. And the girl was like, oh my god, I did too. And then they just stare at each other like, oh, this is going to be great. And then it's him laying down, getting pegged in the ass by the girl, and I was like...
I did not expect that to go in that direction. Oh my god! So it was just like this panel, and then just
it was like, oh, super
that's
sweet.
0 to 100.
Yeah, it was just like out of nowhere, and it was him like enjoying. He was like, oh, I was cracking.
God, where did you find this, on Facebook?
Yes.
Oh, that's vile.
I was just scrolling. I saw it was so funny. I was like, yeah. Again, no shame if you guys like it, but the Rings of Power was. Yeah, nowhere close.
I don't watch it, so I couldn't tell you. And I think eventually we'll get to like talking about like the Mandalorian once they all come out and you binge them.
I do got to start watching it today. We'll see.
You're like, I'll see if I'll watch it.
Yeah, well, on the theme of wrapping up, did you see The Last of Us at all?
No.
Okay. It was good. I did really like it.
Oh, I hear a lot of people are liking it, and I'm just like, I've played the games, I know the story.
And here's why I didn't like the game, because I thought it was boring as hell.
Like, the gameplay was boring, but the story was good.
Well, that's why I played it. I was like, the story's so good, though. Like, I want to see what happens. Yeah. But that's why when they came out with the TV show, I was like, oh, hell yeah, just feed me this.
And from what I hear, they're following it pretty closely.
It's been some
detours here and there.
It's been a long time since I played the game, so I didn't remember everything, like, specifically. But overall, they hit all the major plot points.
Yeah.
And they killed the correct characters, and they let the correct characters live.
Yeah.
Witcher. Fucking assholes.
Yeah. Assholes.
But yeah, no, it was good. I'd say it's worth a watch. So
even my boss, who's not into that stuff, she was just like, I watched the show and I was really liking
it.
I'm sitting there, I'm like, really? And
do you
like,
remember?
Have you seen it? I'm like, no, I played the games. And she's like, it's based off a game? I'm like, yeah, like a pretty popular game.
What?
And then she was shocked, like, you play games? I'm like, listen, lady, I'm white and overweight. Of course I play games.
Yeah, I know. My man titties are coming back, despite all the running I've been doing. My
it's
legs look great.
Dude, it's the winter. Winter got us both a little bit. Just being stuck inside and just not as active. Yeah,
my stomach and my tits came back.
But dude, that sun's out today. We're going to go out.
I got to go run at least 3 miles, so.
At least.
I do have to point out just one thing real quick. Was Bill and Frank in the game? I don't remember the games very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you never met whatever the one is that, because by the time you find, like, I think it's Frank, he hung himself, and that's when you kind of like discover it's like, oh, Bill was gay.
Yeah.
It was that couple, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but in the show, I know they had some.
It was such a good episode. I'm dead inside. Not much touches my heart.
Yeah. But that did.
That episode was so gut-wrenchingly both sweet and sad. Nick Offerman played a role I never would have expected him in. Ron Swanson.
Yeah.
Just perfection. I could have stopped watching the series after that. I think that was episode 3, and I'd have been content. Because it was just such a good episode.
Yeah, a lot of people have been liking it.
That was a little bit different, because I didn't remember that... one of them killed themselves in the game, but so they end that episode a little bit differently than how the game does it, but it was so good. I was like,
yeah, I'm glad that, I will say, to wrap everything up, I'm glad video game or game type movies are actually good now compared to the stuff we got in the past where it was like just not done well. And Witcher. I first season Witcher, I give credit. They did solid with that. It was great. Anything after that just gets a little wonky.
Are you gonna watch I know we're gonna wrap it up, but are you gonna watch the 3rd season?
Yeah.
Are you gonna watch the 4th and 5th?
Yeah. No.
Because they're filming them back to back, and that tells me they're filming them back to back because they know they're going to fail.
They're like, and yeah, I'll give it a watch because I do like the world. I do like the universe. I do like reading the articles where all the people are complaining about Henry Cavill because like he was too into the role and annoying about it.
But that's what made it good.
Yeah, we're just like, oh my gosh, we get it, you're Geralt. And he's like, I love being Geralt. And like, dude, just go play Warhammer or something. And he's like, fine, I will.
Yeah, really.
And then he's like,
all right, you're going to destroy what I love. I quit. I'm going to go to Amazon and make a Warhammer series.
Yeah, we'll see how that turns out.
I don't care. It's Henry Cavill. I'll give it a shot.
Oh, yeah. Fingers crossed that all's good on that. Okay, wrapping up the episode. Thank you for listening, as always. Given that we are going to be transitioning pretty soon here into like the D&D thing, these episodes of this podcast it will be more consistent than it was because I'm not sick and you're not traveling all over the place.
Yeah, I'm out of vacation, so exactly. I'm kind of stuck here now.
Yes, so it's going to be like more consistent, but also at the same time, according to the statistics, the lazier we are with the episodes and like releasing them, the more downloads we get. So like,
I'm cool with it.
I'm like, you guys are promoting us to be lazy because if I let it sit and simmer for like a few weeks, I'm like, oh wow, this episode got this many downloads compared to like when we release.
Hopefully I'll start to have more video game news too, because I got the new console. Now granted, I'm going to spend the next few weeks playing all the old games I couldn't, but
Yeah.
I have a few other fun stories we can get to.
All right. Oh, stretch. Oh my god.
Stretch after the podcast before
Oh,
you
I'm
run.
sorry. Okay. Goodbye. See you later. Hello and welcome to another episode of It Sure Is a Podcast, where Brandon either tries to burn down his apartment and or has the air fryer just blasting out some chicken air into the room.
I actually like to think the universe just knew. Like, it was like, all right, we're going to time this disaster so that the door opens for Eric. I have luck like that. My good luck is everyone else's bad luck.
It's... I'm
Beep.
sitting here and I'm looking at it, picking it up. I just think it's hilarious. So, like, before Eric walked into the apartment, he's walking up to the door. I have this power strip that's connected to the side of my little tiny cupboard that I have that I put all my stuff on, right? All my plugs for, like, my toaster, my air fryer, the other thing. And I'm sitting there and all of a sudden it stopped. Like, and I looked at it and I, like, flicked the switch and it turned back on. I was so confused. And then I kind of stepped away and I noticed that smoke was billowing out of where you press the button on the power strip. So I grab it, I immediately unplug everything, yank it out of the wall, and I go to the door, open up. Eric's there. Eric's like, all right.
Like an angel descending from the heavens, I appeared.
And then in that moment, I just kind of tossed it.
I wondered what you were doing with it.
Yeah, I tossed it out, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to let you smolder, singe, whatever, but I'm throwing you away.
That's just the smoke alarm in the background. His apartment is actually currently on fire.
We're sitting here recording just in the midst of a fire, 100%. We're not even trying to hide it. We're just burning the place down, I guess. Ain't getting that security deposit back. I have thought about that, like, moving out of here. Like, when I first moved in here, it was very rushed, and I was thinking, like, after I set everything up, I'm like, I probably should have taken pictures of some stuff I noticed.
It's always weird the first time you move out. Like, I don't want to say you don't know, but there's just so much you just don't think about it. And then now, after doing it once, next time you look at a place, I can guarantee there's 100 new things you're going to look at.
Yeah, because, like, definitely whoever had this place last had a dog, and they were at the doorway on the side. You could see where a dog was, like, chewing on the side of the thing. And we've had management for these buildings switch, like, quite a few times. So I'm just kind of, like, giving the big old shrug. I'm like, I guess this will work out maybe, and they probably won't notice. I mean, I'm the only guy who gets my check in on time. Not even on time, way too early. In the middle of the month, that's when they give my rent check.
I mean, it's better to be early than late.
Yeah, my landlord loves it. He's like, this is great. Thank you so much. I love this. I'm like, okay. Get on the good side. Yeah, because
most of the time, they probably have to, like, fight people for it.
Seriously. All these buildings right here, when COVID was happening, all the people in the apartments were like, we don't have to pay. It's a national emergency. Right? One person thought that, and I was talking to the lady who used to be in charge of all these buildings, and she switched, but she was telling me that everyone just sat down, united, and they were just like, we're not paying.
I mean, there was a stay on that. Like, yeah. they weren't wrong, but if you had the ability, you're kind of a piece of shit. Yeah. Like, that was supposed to be for people who, like, oh, I work 2 jobs at fast food places, or I'm a waitress. And it was for people like them who got, like, who against their will couldn't work.
Exactly.
That's who it was supposed to help, not people who are just like, I don't want to pay.
Yeah, and it was just more, from what I gathered, just laziness. So they were all like, yeah, we're not I mean,
I didn't get to stop paying my fucking mortgage.
Right, that's what I was just... I still had to pay all my crap.
People had to sell their houses because they didn't get that same... Like, it's just...
Yeah, so...
Nothing's ever perfect, but...
So they all, like, banded together and were just like, we're not paying.
I hope they
what are you gonna do? They all got evicted. It was everyone, like all the way down this building and the two other buildings. They all like united together, but
I just like to think as soon as it got lifted, that dude was like, out,
get out,
get out. I'm not even asking. Get out.
It was when I got here. There was no one here. There was a whopping one person living in all three of these buildings. Not like one person going house to house changing their bed every week, but there was only really one person living here. And then I showed up, and then my neighbors showed up, and then now the others showed up. And
yeah, I know. Now I'm forced to walk like 50 feet. I'm so tired.
I mean, there's an opening over there, but
yeah, but if you have that many people, I was like, I'm not gonna take somebody's spot.
Oh, I would have you take someone's spot. I don't care.
No, realistically, I'm gonna just pull all the way in and get right up in front of that dumpster. I'm gonna be like, this is a visitor's spot.
Or you just park right in front of the sidewalk, like to the side where you just open the door and just take a step.
I'm just gonna park right out here in front of your window.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, man, we've been soaking up that nice weather. It's been nice out here. Except for the random 2 days it snowed. I hate where we live.
80 degrees and then the next day snow.
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
We kid you not. Like, that is exactly how it was. 80 degrees, everyone's outside, and then the next day, not even 24 hours, it's snowing.
I had to go running in the snow because I didn't have enough miles for our challenge week, and I was just like, this is horrible.
Dude, the one day we had that snow, rain, sleet, just tornadoes landing everywhere.
Yeah.
I was outside in that because I was bold and like, I'm gonna run. And then I'm getting pelted with hail and like all the rain.
5:30 in the morning I woke up and I was like, I don't know if I should run. I was like, nah, I'm motivated. I'm gonna do it. Did my protein shake, stretched, got all ready, and then hated life. Ran 3.5 miles through sleet and snow and wind, and I was like, what am I doing with my life? What brought me to this point that I am out at 6 in the morning before work to run in this bullshit?
Did you ever feel like motivated or like good after the fact? You're like, even though it was terrible, like your body felt good. You know what I'm trying to say?
My body felt like dog dick. Like, I felt horrible afterwards from the cold. Like, I'm not athletic. I've never been naturally athletic or anything like that. So every time I run, regardless of how far or how short, I hurt. I have a constant pain in my ankle now that never goes away.
You have to keep running that away. Run the pain away.
I'm not joking. It doesn't hurt that much when I run. When I just walk, though, it hurts. So I was like, oh, guess I'm stuck with that.
Welcome to 30.
So there are days, yes, like after I did so we ran through that and then I did a 4-mile run the next day. And I was like, you know what? That felt good. I felt motivated. I was only going to run 3. I was like, you know what? I have a little bit extra time before I have to get ready for work. I finished it out. It felt good. But then it was immediately followed by that thought process I just explained. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I just spent 40 minutes before work that I could have spent sleeping. I woke up to run. Like, what is going on?
Change, my friend.
I don't know if I like it. I kind of miss being a fat sack of shit.
Dude,
or I could have woken up and played a video game.
You could have.
But I didn't. I blame both my coworkers who are highly, like, they're very nice and they're very motivating. They're like, come on, you got to do it. And my wife who's like, we got to be healthy. I kind of just want to tell them all to go fuck themselves. Like, I'll go get some shit job somewhere, leave my coworkers behind, divorce my wife, and just be like, make just enough to pay rent, get the bare amount of food. Get the bare amount of
food.
I can't speak right now. It has been a shit fucking week, but...
Keep chatting. I need the coffee. I need the coffee in my system.
I envy you that you can have that and fall asleep before 4 a.m. this late.
Oh yeah, brother.
I am old. I can't have caffeine late. Change.
Welcome to being old.
The world constantly changes, but we stay the same.
Not if I can say anything about it.
I also really hope it's not picking that up, so I just sound insane.
As I'm just over here. I need that. Because I came home from work and I literally, I passed out for maybe not an hour. But it was just really hard to get up from that. And I'm just I need coffee because, I would like to As long as it doesn't start spitting rain, I would like to run before I sit around and be a POS for the rest of the night.
We were talking about this before, but I am really torn about after this if I'm going to go run or not. There's like a 99% chance I'm going to get home, and if my wife's home, she's going to be like, we should just sit on the couch. And I'm going to be like, oh, well, guess I got to do that.
Yeah, you got to make it her idea. That's the thing. You have to, like,
I know, I'm
have
such
her
a
the
shitty
one.
husband.
Well, she's got to be the one to sell it.
It wasn't me. It was you. I'm just trying to make you happy. That's so horrible.
Yeah, you just, no, you don't, no, I'm not saying gaslight. Just come on in. You're just like, oh, man. And you're just like, I'm so tired. You know, I recorded with Brandon. Work was rough. I'm just, all right, time to get ready to run. Like, that fake motivation. And then she's going to sit there and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Why don't you just stay in today? You've been doing really good this week. And then you're just like...
The problem is she's so motivational. She's always like, I'm so proud of you for doing this. I'm like, fuck!
It's the opposite of what I just said.
Tell me to go get a bottle of alcohol and to stay home.
She sits there and is like, I'm so proud of you. You're doing so good. You're just like... I was hoping you would say that I could sit on the couch.
Yeah, this is how much of an adult apparently I am now. I've had my Xbox back for like a week now. My Xbox Series X that was that was broken.
Right. You talked about last time.
It's still broken.
How is it still broken?
Well, it's not. I can't play the Hogwarts Legacy. I turned it on, like, before. The reason I sent it back was I played Hogwarts Legacy. It would only go for like 5 minutes, if that, and it would shut off. It would turn the Xbox off.
Yeah.
I got this one back, and I think it's a new one because it has a new serial number, and they sent it back. And it was a real quick turnaround, so I just think they didn't want to fuck with it.
Yeah.
But it did the same thing. It turned it off, except this time it wouldn't turn back on. So... yeah,
that's just so almost sounds more like a Hogwarts, like that game. Something is wrong with it.
I in that moment, I know I've grown as a person from who I was 5 years ago, because 5 years ago I did not have the patience. My first instinct was to take the controller and whip it against a hard surface and just watch it shatter, and I almost kicked the Xbox, but I didn't. And I could tell Kate was sitting right next to me when it happened, and she looked scared.
She was like...
she didn't even... She was like, oh, no. And then she realized and looked at me, and I think she was like, uh-oh. Because I'm not an angry person, I would like to think. I have my moments like everyone, but yeah, so I just set the controller down on the thing in front of me, and I just calmly pressed the button, and it didn't turn on. So I just took a deep breath, and I was like...
And let me ask you, did you do the thing, like, your glasses, when you, like, pulled them down to, like, the middle of your, like, nose, so you, like, had to tip your head back a little bit as you're, like, looking at it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went down, and they went down. So I sat up, and it didn't turn on, and Kate's like, is it not turning on? And I just did I pushed my glasses up, and I went...
Style.
And I just went, nope, it's not turning on. And she was just, oh. So I...
Bless your wife for being with you through that process, and just like...
I was so... But anyway, I did the thing. I didn't expect it to turn back on. I honestly thought I was going to have to freak out, call Microsoft, and be like, I'm not using a warranty claim. Like...
I just got this back.
I sent this for this problem, and you sent me back, and now it's worse.
Right.
I pulled the thing out. I power cycled it. Like, I left it alone for they were like 20 to 30 minutes. I'm like, fuck you. I ain't touching you for an hour.
Yeah.
Left it alone. We went upstairs. She laid down, went to bed. I think I watched TV for a little bit. I went to let the dogs out. While they were out, I plugged it in. I very calmly hit the button. I just sat there, and it turned on. And that's been the extent of, like, what I've done to it. I haven't... Well, that's not fair. I turned it on again. Game. I don't understand, though. Millions of other people have downloaded this game, and it works fine. Nobody...
Just you.
It's just me, and I don't...
time you decide to get an Xbox and go to the next generation...
It's been a horrible experience.
And the next generation's giving you the middle finger.
My Xbox 360 is like 15 fucking years old, if not older at this point. Nah.
Look at this baby right here, and I
maybe
have
not
never
quite
had
that
an
old.
issue with it. How much did I pay for it? Let me see. It's $140. That thing is probably old and beaten up. And
my thing has gone to so many sleepovers. it's probably had not probably it's had drinks spilled on it. It's probably full of fucking weed smoke from when I was in high school. I mean, and that thing
I just imagine
still
you turning on
plays.
your 360 and just out of the vent fan, just weed just.
My favorite game of all time, Oblivion, the symbol that I have tattooed on me. That case is scored with weed marks.
Oh,
just
the weed marks.
And I just.
Speaking of weed marks, I got another copy of Anarchy Reigns.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
This one has clearance stickers all over it. That's all. It's still in plastic. It just clearance stickers. I think it's Kmart clearance stickers, honestly.
Oh, wow. Blast from the past.
My favorite thing with this experiment is just I get different games for different places. Like and you're like, it has weed marks in it. I would have never known that. The one has a dirty napkin. The one, it's just, each one is its own little character. But it's so funny because, all right, so over there, I've had console troubles too. You see my PlayStation 2?
On top of your PlayStation 2?
On top of my PlayStation 2. So the bottom PlayStation 2, I get it for real cheap on eBay. And
that's the old one, too.
Yeah, that's the old one. It gets shipped to me, perfect quality. Like, everything's awesome on it. And I turn it on, and I'm greeted with some kanji. And I'm like, shit. I'm like, this is a Japanese PS2. So I go through the process of switching the language and how Japanese, like the PS2 to over here, you hit circle to, go back. That's your back button. X is your confirm button.
Yeah.
Yes. In Japan, it's the opposite. Circle is the accept. X is the back. And I'm losing my mind. So I changed the language. And I'm looking up online. I'm like, is there any way I can get rid of the region lock? Because region lock in a lot of consoles now is not a thing anymore. They got rid of that.
Yeah, you pick that up front, don't you? Like when you're setting it up.
No, you could pick your region, but region lock in a way that that PlayStation, the big fat one underneath the little one, will not play anything. Like it will not play Drakengard 1 and or 2 because these are from the States. It's from America, right?
Oh, wow.
So they have to be Japanese copies to be able to play on a Japanese system. This was a huge thing. And even the 360 and stuff has it, but
is that phasing it out. Is that for just trying to keep certain content out of certain areas, or
at the time I really a little bit of that, but I think it was more of exclusivity, you just that idea of you're playing Japanese games, you want to get a Japanese console. Okay. But our new PS4 and all that became pretty much not region locked. I mean, Nintendo Switch is not region locked.
I feel like that just makes the logistics of selling it a nightmare.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wouldn't you want it?
That was the way things were at the time.
Yeah, just make one thing so you can ship it all over the world and make it work.
Yeah, so the one on top I found at the local store. So the thing on the bottom was $80, thing on top $150. That's a PlayStation Slim. They're notoriously known for, if you got it brand new and set it down and only played it and never moved it, it would be fine. But it's so common for the disc tray because it pops upward like this when you press the button. For it not to connect properly. So I get it, and it's not reading my disc. So the only way I can get it to play is this is what I have to do. I take my copy of Drakengard 2. I put it in. If it accepts it, immediately I pop it out and put in my copy of Drakengard 1, and then it will play it without issue. And the thing is, I've had it like that. I haven't touched it, and it's working now. I can play it at any time. But it's like your situation. If I am to do one thing with it, it will mess up So, I cannot even play another PS2 game until I beat Drakengard.
Yeah, I'm...
in all of its glory.
At some point, I'm going to... I have a couple games downloaded that, I have the Halo Master Chief Collection, and I have Gears of War 1, the Ultimate Edition, because they're both on Game Pass, which I got, which I also lost out on a month of Game Pass, because I sent this in to be looked at.
Game Pass is a really good deal. It's just free games for a very low amount.
It's not terrible, and I'm only saying that because I have not had a chance to exploit it yet.
Exactly.
So, once I get a chance, I'm going to sit down and pick a different game, I'm going to play it. If it works, I'm just going to count it as a loss. I'm screwed.
The physical copy of Hogwarts.
I'm honestly scared to try that because I'm like, what if I put this in and it makes it worse and it breaks my Xbox?
All right. Well, I have a similar story with that.
Also, I don't get a refund on it because I bought a code and
Oh, yeah.
GameStop doesn't do refunds on digital, and so they're like, you can try Microsoft, and I went to Microsoft, but because it was a digital code that I bought from somebody else, there's no quote unquote charge to my account there, and they're like, we can't refund you because there's no charge.
So you could have only refunded if you got the digital code from at Microsoft, and that would probably be a big if.
Yeah, and that's still a big if. I was like, all I want is a refund so I can buy the physical copy. Like, I'm going to give you this money right back. I just want a version that works.
That's not good enough.
And they sent me, I'm not shitting you, almost word for word the exact same response. They're like, we reviewed it. There's no charge. We can't refund. I was like, I gave you the order number. Even though I bought the code from someone else, it goes through your shitty website.
It's not good enough, man.
I'm getting angry all over again.
You're livid.
So I'm gonna try very hard. I'm gonna try to find a couple hours this weekend to just pick a game and play
just kind of experiment and just make sure.
And I'm terrified that I'm gonna play a game. The same thing's gonna happen, and I don't know.
We'll PTSD. Go from there. You have Xbox new gen PTSD.
It was such a shitty experience. I do think it is just the game because, like, on the original console, Kate tried that Dreamlight Valley because I was on Game Pass, and she played it for like 8 hours. She never plays games that long, so we immediately bought it for the Switch for her.
Oh yeah.
But she loved it. But 8 hours, no problem. I downloaded everything, no trouble. So I turned it on and I left it on, just sitting there for like 3 hours, no issues.
So I've had a similar experience with Anthem on the PS4. I just downloaded the digital version, right? Mm. When that game first came out, it would do 3 things to my PS4, and it started happening so frequently that I figured out it was the game that I downloaded. So the game that I downloaded, Anthem, it would do one of 3 things. One, it would shut off my internet. I don't know how it did this, but what would happen is
that's malware, my friend.
As much as I love like the idea of Anthem and the gameplay of it, what a mess.
I have it for free on the PS4 because I got that, which I actually will be losing access to all of my free games because I canceled that subscription to pay for the Xbox One. So now I'm like, I don't know, do I want to do that? I'm gonna do it, but I lose all of the free games like Greedfall. I haven't played it yet. Or I haven't finished it. It's gone. All of my other ones.
Oh, that's
gone.
right. It's all the access. But honestly, here's the thing: if you wanted to play those at this point, you can find it on the shelf, especially at the used game store that I'm always at.
You can find
it for $20. It's not like you're going to be paying.
I need to explore the Xbox One too. I believe because I got Game Pass Ultimate, I believe Gold is included in that. Yeah. And you should get free monthly games through Gold as well.
Yeah, they do that too.
And
a lot of those games cross over, like the ones that you are interested in, they're like on both platforms. It's not like an exclusive.
And like I said, if they don't, Game Pass had hundreds of games. I now have an excuse to legitimately restart the Mass Effect series because I'm on Xbox. My save files won't be there for when the new one comes out, and that is something I want.
That is fair. So you giving yourself another that sounds like me in Borderlands 2. I would always give myself another reason to play. I'd be like, I need to stop playing this and play other games because my Xbox 360 that I had when I was a kid, it was a Borderlands 2 machine. Nothing else was on there, just Borderlands 2 and all the deal. And it got to a point where it's just like I played through. You know how much I played that game, and I've only played the Gunzerker and the Commando.
I always played the sniper.
None of the other characters have been touched. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, that's a treasure trove of content that I just never accessed.
But is it really? Like, I tried the Commando because I was like, I love robots, like being able to throw out the turret and everything.
Yeah.
It just wasn't as fun. I liked the playstyle of the assassin so much. It was honestly hard for me to, like, I'd stopped playing my one playthrough because I was like, I don't, like, it's fun.
It's whatever character you have the most fun with. The Gunzerker was for me.
But the assassin is you turn invisible and throw fucking knives at people. I was like, I don't even care about... I mean, the sniper rifle perks were fucking awesome. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, his power was just so much fun to use. Once you got it upgraded, bosses weren't bosses. They did not matter. They didn't count.
Because you would, like, mark them for death, and then he would just do a bunch of damage on top
You could throw, like, 5 of them. They had all those random things.
Yeah.
They were even, like, the notoriously hard ones... They'd take away like 75% of their health, and you're just like, I got this.
So, back to the Anthem thing with so it would shut off my internet. It would just shut off my console.
I'm glad. I am glad that at least this isn't a new thing I'm going through.
This isn't a new thing. It's not common, but it does happen, and especially like I know Anthem had it. What bothered me is shut off my internet.
That's scary.
It would trip something in the PlayStation, and it was just so overwhelming that it would just like shut off the internet. It would turn back on immediately.
What's really making me laugh though was this while you were still at your parents' house?
Oh yeah, so they were pissed. But my excuse, I go up there and I'm just like, I don't know what's happening. The internet must be garbage. It's Verizon. And my parents are like, yeah, Verizon is garbage. Let alone I'm just trying to play Anthem and it keeps like just like shutting off the internet and turning it back on. God, it is so nice not being in that house and having to share internet. I'm not downloading everything, but it's just like I want to be able to play some games with friends sometimes. And
yeah.
That was really difficult when...
I was really happy when we moved out. Like, don't get me wrong, my parents just... we were a burden on my parents financially. So, but when we moved out, I looked at Kate, I was like, we're getting good internet.
Oh, that was my...
I was like, she was like, well, we're not going to get the most expensive package. I'm like, that's fine. And I was like, their starting package, what we're buying, seems like it's good enough because it's just the two of us. I'm like, but if it's not good enough, we upgrade. There is no, like, I will... have good internet. I will stream my anime. I will play my video games. I was like, that is not negotiable.
This is not negotiable for the new house we're going into.
And to be fair, she's like, I mean, I like my shows, so we bought 10,000 streaming services and she can watch whatever she wants. She's always like, we should look into getting rid of some of them. I'm like, no.
No.
Because when I want to watch something, I can just find it on one of them.
My thing right now is literally my friends have the streaming apps. I go to my friends, I'm like, let's watch this. And then we watch it, and I'm like, ha ha ha, I watched this and I didn't have to pay for it. And my friends thought we were hanging out.
I'm just using you for your stream.
I'm just using you for the stream. Is that... Oh, yeah, that's like rain clouds. So the socks are coming off.
Okay. I want you to know that I tried to spare you, which it still might smell because my boots are in here, but I worked all day, and I have very sweaty feet, so I brought an extra pair of socks to put on before I came in here.
No, you didn't have to do that, dude.
Well, my boots are still sitting there, so it's still going to smell like shit.
I'm about to say, it's stink heaven in here. Look at this place. There's a bag of spinach over there that I haven't put away.
That's probably what I'll be eating for dinner tonight. We made chicken salad last night, and I just might have some leftovers. It was actually really good.
Dude, chicken salad absolutely friggin' slaps.
We got a new air fryer, and this is how I knew I was getting old. Is I got excited because there's like a rotisserie like cage that came with it, I mean, like you could still do a normal rotisserie chicken. It has all that, but it came with a cage in case you wanted to cook stuff on the rotisserie.
Right. And so I put it in the cage and then you just put it in.
And we made some homemade fries and I put it in there and I was like, this is game changing. I don't have to like stop it and flip it and all that stuff. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
The podcast is going to change strictly from nerd stuff to just talking about air fryers and old people.
Dude, the reason I was a present for Kate and it was supposed to be like a really nice one, like an upgrade, but we used our old air fryer so much, it was trash. Like, all the lining was coming off. I'm like, we're probably eating cancer, so we should probably get a new one.
That's fair. That air fryer over there has Bluetooth and Wi-Fi.
What the fuck do you need that for?
I don't know. The Bluetooth is strictly for... I looked in the thing. I didn't download it because the Bluetooth is just... I can connect to that, and I can activate it from over here. But I'm like...
That's fucking lazy.
I'm just like, I'm going to walk
There's a lot of things where I'm going to be like, that's cool as shit. But that's fucking lazy.
Dude, I don't know why the Wi-Fi. Like, I think it probably has the Wi-Fi functionality to like work with the Bluetooth. I don't know. I didn't read that far. I'm just like,
maybe if you're not home, like you could activate it from like access it online or something. And like,
I mean, that's fine.
Like if you prep it and then you're like, oh, I'm on my way home. I'll just start it.
Imagine if I did that and the power strip I was using lit on fire again.
I would never, ever. I don't even like leaving the washing machine on when I'm not home.
Oh, dude.
Or dishwasher. I'm like, what if a seal breaks and it floods?
Oh, yeah. Whenever, like, when I was living with my folks, I would always... Washer, I was sort of okay with as long as it's, like, it has 5 minutes. Whatever. Nothing's bad happened. But the dryer, I'm like, oh, that's going to light a house on fire.
Yeah, PSA, everybody, please clean your dryer vent. like
that little lint.
Yeah,
catcher.
the lint catcher. That's how a lot of house fires start. Is people don't know that you have to clean that out. Please clean it out.
Please clean out your
Save
lint
your
tree.
life and the life of your pets.
Actually, just save the life of your pet. I don't care about you. It's the pets. Get the pets
Well,
safe.
they have to be alive to get the pets to safety.
But I mean, the pets can be pretty resourceful. I've seen The Secret Life of Pets, okay? I know what they're up to. I'm more of the person like, oh my gosh, I don't know why I just thought this. At my job, we got this a therapy dog, but it's a therapy dog in training, and of course it's like a little wiener dog. It's very cute, but at the same time, it's a wiener dog.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want a therapy dog. You know what I want? I want a big old dog that can crawl up in my face and just cuddle me and love me. That's the therapy I need.
Yeah.
I don't want this little nugget to cradle my arms and pet like I'm a super villain.
I want something to make me feel taken care of. I don't want to take care of something else.
There's someone I know that I work with that has this dog. It's a border collie. This beautiful poor dog was, I guess it did not get attention when it was a puppy, so it's really affectionate. They saved it from a house, so it's like, it's living the best life it can now.
That's Ari. That's our dog, a rescue dog who was a stray who like thinks she's a lap dog, but she just.
And that's the dog acts the same way. And what it does is, since it's a border collie, it's like kind of thinner. What it does is it pushes itself against you and slithers up your body and puts your two paws there and just like rests its head in this little part of your neck. And I'm just like, oh, like I'm tearing up and crying. Person's like,
see,
what are you doing?
That's
I'm just
cute.
Like, this dog.
Our dog literally jumps up, flips on her fucking back, Kangaroo Jack kicks me in the face to make room for herself, and then just like slithers around and literally pushes me over until she's comfy. Then, when she decides that sitting next to me isn't enough, she puts her head on my lap, acts all sweet, and then when I let my guard down, she bunny hops over me in between me and my wife, even if there's no room. Because then she just jumps in between us and like kicks me over.
And somewhere in there is a fart.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with your dog smells so bad.
She smells like shit. We take care of her. Don't get me wrong. Like now, she needs a bath. We're getting past winter. It's almost nice enough out that we can like bathe her, and I can let her outside to dry without killing her.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, she's not neglected. Like, we try to feed her really good food. We give her the greeny things or whatever the off brand is of that, like to clean her teeth and everything.
Oh yeah.
She just smells.
She just smells.
I got a random text from my wife today. Just Ari let out a loud ass fart and a laughing emoji. It was so loud. Mind you, I know how loud this is. I live there. I take care of this stinky dog. So this one was so memorable that she felt the need to text me about it.
I mean, through everything that dog's been through, like, you don't know, like, there could be, like, a permanent, like, stomach issue, and that's, I mean, at least it's just farts and not, like, violent diarrhea all over the place.
She does like to throw up a lot, because she eats everything that she shouldn't eat. Dog shit, grass, rocks, wood, animals.
You do have a very dumb dog.
She's, God bless her, but... Man.
Dude, I
just remember this is my good deed in the universe because she is a rescue dog. And if we hadn't taken her in, she would have been put down because she came from down south.
So that is your good deed.
Yes. Right, we saved her from being killed. And I'm just like, every day I was like, this is my good karma. This is my good karma.
I'm doing good. I swear. My over Easter, I went back to my parents' house just to hang out with them because my grandma canceled Easter because her hearing aids didn't come in, which I'm fine with because, God, with like, just imagine sitting there being an interpreter and screaming in her ear just for her to barely hear you. Yeah. So I went there and my dog, she got bred again. And what I do is, like, a few times, whatever dog I have, I'll breed them and then donate, half the puppies to be, like, service dogs, because it's a Labradoodle. And service dog, like, they love that because they're hypoallergenic.
Right? Oh, that's cool. Is there a need for service dogs?
Oh, yeah. There's always a need. So I'm like, my goal is to like donate a half, but it's only like 2 or 3, and the rest I sell. But I'm like sitting there Facebook stalking. I'm like, what is this person's background? How's their house? Like, I'm serious. Like,
well, yeah, no, that means you're a responsible breeder. You're not one of those ones who's just like, highest bidder. I don't give a shit what you do.
Yeah,
just
no,
highest bidder.
I have gone to houses and done like a look through, like an OCY agent getting a call, like, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, so where will the dog be sleeping? Okay, is there access to fresh water and food? All right, so what's the kid situation like? Do you have kids? Are they going to be playing, or are you primarily playing with the dog? Okay. Yeah, I'm real sorry about that, but no, I cannot give you a dog. And then at that point, I flip them off and do a sick, like, dive out their window. And then I leave. I had someone come back and return a dog because this was the one that my mom was like, we want to give it to her. We'll give her a discount. She really wants it. I'm like, that's fine, I guess. I'm like, you got this covered? And then the person came back, was like, this dog's too much. I can't handle it. And she was like about to ask me about like for money back. And I'm like, well, okay, here's the thing. And this lady was, you just looked at her and you're like, okay, you're stupid. Because you could just tell that like not all the crayons were in the box. I'm like, listen, we gave you this at a discount. If you were to return a dog literally anywhere else, there would be a charge. I don't plan on charging you, but I don't plan on giving back your money. I'm like, we have the receipt. The deal went through. My recommendation is that you leave the dog here and you leave. And the lady, like, stone cold face, like the scary anime enemy where it's like not enemy antagonist where their face gets serious and there's a like soulless look in their eye and they're staring at the character. That's exactly what I had. And this lady just grabs her kid and like immediately leaves. Not another word said. I take it seriously. That's the one thing I take seriously. And then I was sitting there trying like, all right, let me test the dog out. Dog was fine. They were just lazy and didn't want to take it out.
Yeah, that always annoys me when people are like, we don't want I feel bad because we were fostering, by the way. We didn't adopt, but we were fostering a dog, and the dog was too much, like destroying all of our property. And we told the people, because we said we're too full, we don't have the time or the space anymore, because we have 2 rescue dogs. We're like, we can't help foster anymore.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm out. And they were like, we need help. We need help. All of our places are full. All of our places are full. We need you to do it. I was like, dude, you've been to my house. I was like, our house isn't big enough, and I have 2 big dogs here.
You do have 2 big dogs.
I was like, I just don't have, and this was a bigger dog. And I was like, I can't do it. He was like, hey, she's so sweet. She's great. She's great. She won't be there long. She won't be there long. She was there for like a month and a half. Destroyed rugs, my door, like a cage, a metal fucking cage. I was like, I can't. Finally, I was like, you guys got to figure something out. I can't do this anymore. So I feel bad. However, I wasn't somebody who was like, I'm adopting a dog, and then it's a puppy. You have to train a puppy.
Yeah, seriously.
I was like, yeah.
So the second the dog came back into my care, I was just like, kind of checked it over, made sure she was okay. She did fine. Not
mother hen.
Yeah,
just like
absolutely. This dog had no issues in the house. Was perfectly fine. Very well behaved. It just she gave the cue to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, all right, let's go to the bathroom. That is literally what these people. They just and the lady was like, well, I thought my teenager would be responsible to take care of it. I'm like,
have you met teenagers? Yeah, dumbass.
I just looked at a lady, and that's when I was just like,
I'm surprised I didn't kill myself on accident when I was a teenager. I was so lazy and stupid.
Because when you're a teenager, you think you're invincible and absolutely nothing matters.
Seriously.
But then I got the dog to a new home to someone that is loving it. Like, oh my gosh, this thing is spoiled rotten. I'm like, good. Mm-hmm. That's what I want. That is exactly what I want. Exactly what we need. How did we talk for 38 minutes about dogs?
Holy shit, I don't know. By the way, I do have to throw the PSA out there, or not PSA. I have to throw the caveat out there that while I talk a lot of shit on my dogs, and they do aggravate me, and there are times I want to kick them in the face, they are loved and spoiled. That's like, I do have to throw that out there. They are not mistreated.
That's like having a significant other, right?
That's the perfect way to put it. I love I bitch about her a lot, but I love her to death.
Exactly.
Like I can't picture life without her.
Exactly.
I can't picture life without the dogs. But
right. But you're gonna complain about it. That's like me and my job. Like I do actually genuinely do like my job, but I'm gonna complain about it. I'm gonna just I'm gonna make sure everyone knows that I am just not
See,
happy. But they're like, you want a new job? I'm like, no.
I really like my coworkers and I really like the company. I hate my job.
And everyone
That's not fair. It was a great opportunity when I had it, but it's evolved in ways like I'm a supervisor now and I'm like, I don't know if I have what it takes to be a supervisor. Like I just don't.
Okay, all right.
I don't know if I have that to move into that upper stratosphere of not only do I have to do my job, but I have to make sure their jobs are done, coordinate with other departments. Like it's a lot, and I don't think I'm an idiot by any stretch of the means, but I don't know if I'm a smart individual. I want you to go
to like some look up some of the I don't know like modern, not modern companies, but like maybe a little bit in between, like not a huge like Walmart, but like companies that are pretty important, like in between them. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's not a small business. It's not a huge chain. It's somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Kind of look at the management at places like that because, I mean, gosh, even at my job, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, who's in charge? Because everyone, this isn't work. Like you can see, like I could do a better job. And most of the time, people who end up in charge were just pushed there because they stayed the longest. They're like, we need someone to fill this role. Get here,
see, that's kind of my fear because, well, so to be fair, a lot of the people where I work were either hired from the outside because they had the skills needed for that position, or if you just get bumped up because you've been there the longest, you generally don't last long in the position if you aren't actually like good at it because it's small enough that people don't like you when they bitch.
Yeah.
But that's kind of, I was like, well, I started there by myself. Everything kind of grew, so I was there the longest. So eventually that's what I got. But that's why I'm like, do I deserve this? What if they hire somebody who's smarter than me and they like... Because I'm not going to argue if somebody's like legitimately smarter and better suited for the position.
Yeah.
Unless I don't like them, and in which case I will personally destroy them, but I'll do it outside of work.
I was just going to say, I'm like, you know what, man? Fake it till you make it.
However, then there are days where I hear other people speak, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. I know what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Like, I had to have a call with a vendor who's just...
Yeah, so you encounter people and you're like, how do you run your business? How do you do your job when you're this stupid?
We were the customer. I have to be careful because I don't want to like get flamed for this. So, all right, well, I've never said the name of my business, or I won't say the name of the vendor, but like,
yeah, you never will.
They're complaining about something like, we're the customer. We bought something from them, and we're like, it's bad. They're like, no, it's good. And I was like, okay,
just like that. No, so it's good.
Well, so we had a meeting. We were like, how are you checking this? This is how we're checking it. And we were trying to find some parity between it.
Yeah,
and there were some things that like if we shifted. Like, if we did it the same, we kind of saw similar results. The problem is when we told them to do it our way, because as the customer, this is how we check it for the function of what we want it to do, and they did it, it immediately showed that we were right and they were wrong, and immediately their camera went off. And just, I'm like, I don't have the patience to deal with stuff like that. I just don't. I don't. I told my boss, I went back, he's like, all right, here's some other priorities I need you to do. I was like, no. I spent like 2 hours researching this topic, and I have everything ready to go now to just flame these assholes when I need to.
So then you're like cracking your knuckles? You're like,
I did. I told him, I was like, no. I said, we've been having, it's been a lot lately. We finally got somebody hired who should be starting soon, so I'm like really pumped to start offloading more work onto them so I can focus.
Here's all the work. And just files you just slide into their hands.
Not even like a legitimate, it is a role that needs done because I've been supplementing it, but still trying to do my other stuff. And just, I'm like...
You're balancing too much.
I also just suck. I have a really hard time focusing on one thing at a time. And I have an even harder time if I am working on something, just saying... okay, spent this much time, I have to shift gears and work on something else.
Yes, yeah.
I'm very bad at time management. That's all it is.
Yeah, bad time management.
I'm sure this is the most boring conversation in the world, but anyway, there. I got my insecurities out. We'll see how the rest of work goes.
I was going to say, honestly, from what you said, I think you're doing all right because you could be as bad as that vendor who was like, nah, this is good. And you're like, no, this
I looked at my boss afterwards.
I have the proof that it's not good. And they're like, nah, it's good.
Well, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it's It was funny though, because something else happened in my personal life that I won't say on air in case my wife hears it, but I'm sure she'll know what I'm referencing. I was very angry about something that happened at somebody else in my personal life.
Yeah.
And I came into work the next day and I was in a fighting mood. I mean, I was ready to fucking throw down fisticuffs in my place of employment and get fired. And I think somebody did something really stupid, and I was proud of myself. I wasn't involved in the whole scenario, but it took place within my earshot. So everything happened. They turned around and left. I turned around and I was like, I'm fucking dumber than I was 20 minutes ago when that fucking idiot, before he came up here and started talking.
Don't you love people like that, their existence? You're like,
I went on a tear because somebody asked me afterward, because I probably undeservedly tore into this dude. Right. Behind his back, of course, because it's work.
Oh, but, yeah, of course. Never to their face.
But then somebody asked me, they're like, are you okay? And I was like, no! And then I proceeded to explain why I was so angry about what had happened the night before. And my boss looks at me. I was like, so today, I'm fucking ready to throw down. I was like, do you guys want me to take on this project just so I can go be a dickhead? And no. My boss turned around, though, and God bless him. This is why he's my favorite boss ever. He's like, you're really fired up today. He's like, I kind of like it. What can I do to keep this chaos going? I was like, yes, you get it.
I love how your boss understands that, and you're like, let's harness this. Let's turn this into a weapon.
He's also a good boss because he didn't let me handle it.
That is also true. So after all this, should we get to the topic that we came here to talk about?
Oh my God, I forgot you had a planned topic. Yes, we should.
Hey, gamer. I'm just taking a second to check in on you. You see, the last time your mom and I were hanging out, she may have subtly dropped the hint that you're not really sure how to support the podcast. And honestly, when I walked out of her room only wearing a bath towel and we locked eyes, I could see it on your face. There's quite a few ways you can support the podcast. You can find us on Twitter at sure_podcast, over on Instagram, It Sure Is a Podcast, YouTube, and TikTok. It Sure Is a Podcast. That's all you gotta look up. And then TikTok is for you Zoomers out there, because I post some real stupid shit there. For Eric and I, you listening is probably just one of the best things in the world. But if you do want to support us, those are ways you can. Also, just tell a friend that, hey, we listened to a terrible podcast. You should hop in on this. Also, if you want to support us monetarily, whatever one that makes you give us money, you can go on over to www.buymeacoffee.com/ISIA podcast. There you can drop us a few bucks and be on your way. But like I said earlier, just you guys listening is really enough for us. Alright, so right in between there I inserted a break because we just had that completely segue.
I apologize, guys. It's been like every week. It probably doesn't mean much because I say it every week, but it's been a long week. I came here straight after work, so I'm a little loopy. So let's get into the topic you guys want to hear about.
So I was sitting there thinking, everyone talks about like game worlds you'd love to live in, or like
Skyrim,
kind of
Mass Effect.
What is the one you wouldn't want to live in? Like
Warhammer.
Warhammer is definitely one that
I have only the barest of knowledge, and that sounds like hell.
Well, everything in that universe, every single thing, every single role, every single job. Yeah, it's all bad. Every single job. It's all in service to the war machine.
To death.
Yeah. So, like, even if you're like, oh, I'm an artist, like, yeah, you're going to be an artist painting the giant, like, ships, all the chapels on the inside. And, there's going to have to be some experience holding a las gun and being able to shoot off some orcs. Like, you're going to need to, like, in the middle of painting, you're sitting there like, oh my God.
It's not even like you need it.
Pull out your gun and start blasting some orcs as they're trying to pour through.
To me, it's like, it's not a matter of like joining up and serving and fighting. It's not a matter of like pride or country. And it's not even a matter of if you're attacked. It's a matter of just when. When will your life take a turn for the worst? And where the 10,000 other places where it's already happening, how is that going to fuck up your daily life just anyways?
That's just the war. And I understand the appeal of Warhammer because, like, a lot of, like...
don't get me wrong. I love the universe. I also just want it to stay fictional.
Yeah, you're like, I would not like to live in that because...
Oh, look, orcs? Oh, shit, now there's demons.
And then the Tyranids. Don't forget about Tyranids.
I don't think I've only, like I said, the only real intro besides the breakdown you did, and the only other intro I had was Space Marine.
Yeah.
The video game. So.
Well, it's just the Tyranids come from somewhere else. It's like there's the galaxy that Warhammer takes place in, and the Tyranids are coming in from somewhere else. So you're like,
Jesus Christ! So they have a Reaper problem?
They have a Reaper problem. That is exactly hilarious. It. And everyone's sitting there thinking, like, probably everything outside of this galaxy is all Tyranids. Like, there's probably not a single civilization that made it, and like we're the last bastion. But there's so much going on in between all the other factions that they don't have time to think about it.
I also love the fact that the Tyranids go in to fight, and they're just like, "Oh my god, there's already so much warfare here. I don't know if we can conquer it."
Oh, the Tyranids figure out. I mean,
I'm sure that they make gains and stuff, but just between the orcs and the humans and just everything.
Oh, and the Tyranids always evolve too. And the demons. Don't forget the demons. Don't forget the elves, the witches, all.
Oh yeah, stuff. I haven't even seen all the. I got to get more into the lore of this.
Another place universe I'd not like to live in is the Fallout universe.
Yes, I am.
My reason is I'd be bored.
Oh, I disagree. I think I would have too much. I would have too much to do, but none of it would be good. I am a bitch. I need my creature comforts.
What do you mean creature comforts?
Like plumbing and video games and fast food.
Yes. No, I get it.
You expect my fat ass to wake up every day to go farm irradiated food to eat to keep me alive, but that will also make me shit myself and just like, oh, look, there's a raider coming. Am I going to die? Are they going to rape me? Are they going to kill my family? What's today going to bring? Look, homicidal mutants and monsters. And oh yeah, zombies are a thing now. But did I shoot one that was bad or good? Who knows?
A lot of moral gray space there.
I don't think their morals just aren't a thing anymore. Because you're just like, you have to choose life, like your own life, or
death.
Yeah.
Those are two options. I just never got into the Fallout games. I just can't get into them because I understand the setup, and it's definitely a theme that is meant, like, certain people absolutely adore it, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just isn't for me. Like, I'd just be bored.
Again, I love the universe. I played Fallout 3 was my first one. I never played Vegas or 76, but so Fallout 3 and 4. I love both of the games. They're awesome.
Yeah.
But terrifying when you stop to think about it.
Oh, definitely. All these worlds are. Gosh,
which is weird because Skyrim is, well, obviously much different. Mm-hmm. It's still back in medieval times. Well, our equivalent of medieval times with magic and stuff, but
fantasy world.
But I would still want to live in there because
I want to live in the Skyrim universe. I'd want to live.
But you're like, there's fucking dragons. I'm like, yeah, but there is the power available to kill dragons.
Exactly.
I think I would probably be okay dedicating my life to gaining that power.
And just murdering dragons just for shits and giggles.
I don't even need to be the Dragonborn. Like, I would actually probably prefer to not be the Dragonborn.
Yes.
But I would be, like, his companion or something like that.
This right here is the universe I would not want to live in. The Drakengard universe.
Never actually seen it.
So, Drakengard. Now, the lore in this game is absolutely bonkers. And just to give a little background on it, it's Yoko Taro, which he's the guy who did the story for, like, Nier and Nier Automata, which are two pretty,
I've definitely heard of those, but again, I never played them.
Nier Automata is the outcome of the last ending in this game. There's like a bazillion endings. The gameplay is just dog shit, though. It's pretty much what happened was this was Square Enix attempt at when Musou games became popular, like Dynasty Warriors, where you're just one hero and you're beating up a bunch of dudes and all the bodies go flying. And it's just meant to be stupid fun. Yeah. That was their response to that when it got popular. So they made this game. Well, the universe there is like this dark medieval thing, but it's kind of like Warhammer. Everything's just bad. Everything's just not good. Regardless of what you do, nothing gets better.
There's no good ending. It's just the least shitty ending.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
So the Drakengard universe I wouldn't want to live in. The Shin Megami Tensei universes I would not want to live in because that's the same thing. It's just like no good endings, only shitty endings.
Dark Souls and Bloodborne, both would be terrible.
Oh, Bloodborne. I mean, Bloodborne is just an accurate depiction of Britain. So
yeah, that's just modern day Britain.
Yeah, the Bloodborne's modern day Britain. Dark Souls is just I don't know.
Look, we alienated a couple people in the audience.
Someone stands up at home and they're like, "It is not like that out there." As they stab a blood vial into their leg and picks up the cleaver.
I was gonna say picks up like whipped cane to go outside.
Exactly. Puts on their hunter cap and the hunter garb, and they're just like, "I'm going to get some milk."
I'll be back in 2 weeks.
Oh, dude, those are two I would not. Any
amazing game universes, like the artistry that goes into those games. That I'm not gonna lie, I've definitely died a few times, stone cold sober playing them, just because I was admiring the environment and didn't watch what I was doing.
I walk off the edge a lot.
Yeah,
like especially in Elden Ring, that's what I do. I'll like go after look something. I'm like, that's so cool, and I'll take a step too far, and it just like.
You're just like,
I fall to my death, and you hear like, dream on, as I'm just falling to my death, and I'm just like, man, this is a pretty cool clip. I'm just on the ground, just dead.
Pancake.
Any like Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, Elden, I will watch from afar and I will absorb that, but God, I will not live in that universe. Not for a second.
I actually have to take back one of mine because I'm truly on the fence. And I'm trying to think about this, which obviously all the worlds are fake, but I'm trying to like imagine myself in this scenario. Is the universe itself worth living? I'm assuming we're saying like we ourselves right here, right now, if there was like a magic portal that opened up. It said, do you want, okay.
Yeah.
Mass Effect.
Oh, I would, yes.
Even knowing that there is a chance that all life in your galaxy is about to end.
Oh, yeah. Because I would just get a ragtag crew of Asari, Turians, Avolis, and I'm like, let's go on an adventure, guys. We're getting the team together. And Avolis comes up and just like, you son of a bitch, I'm in. And then just we do the like that really predator high five with his little claw, and I'm like, let's go.
So I am also imagining that once we jump through this portal into said universe, there is some transfer of basic knowledge and function about the world. Like we're not starting from zero.
No. Like just like you would just appear in the world, you would just know how everything works.
Yeah, like the basic function of everyday life and some semblance to okay. Yeah. See, I'm now torn though because I just also put myself in the dilemma of I mean like I would want to go. Because, like, I mean, come on.
You love Mass Effect.
I love Mass Effect, obviously. That's almost on par with Elder Scrolls. And depending on how Elder Scrolls 6, what happens with it, Mass Effect might overtake it.
Because Mass Effect is just
it's perfection.
It's perfection, open and close, one whole narrative.
I'm older, I'm more mature. I can accept the Mass Effect 3 ending now for what it is, and it's all of its glory. But I'm truly torn. I'd be like, I mean, I want to go meet a Quarian and like, hey girl, hey. But then I'm also like, I'm married in this universe.
Well, I mean, you probably could bring your wife with you.
I don't think she would go. That's the problem.
All right, so we would have to pick a universe where your wife would go with you too, if you wanted your wife.
I mean, for the sake of this argument, I'm going to pretend like this would be a single version of me going.
All right, the single version.
Just to make it easier.
All right. So
in which case, 10,000 fucking %, I'm going.
Going to the Mass Effect.
And I don't want the Normandy. I don't want sneaking. I want a fucking massive cruiser. I'm talking dreadnought motherfucker. 1,000 mini fighters on board. I want like 20,000 troops on board ready to go. Still want to be the Spectre, but I'm going in with a fucking army.
And I refuse to walk anywhere, and it's 2 Krogans holding a throne that I sit on.
I mean,
and they carry
for the right amount of money, I bet you they would do it.
Oh my! I was actually just watching a clip of Mass Effect the other day that when you go down the route of curing the genophage, and Rex is just like the women. That's just since no one is infertile, we've just been busy, and it's like, man, Rex, like in any other anyone in this position would probably be shouting for joy and losing their minds.
You gotta think he's like 1,000 years old.
And Rex is just like, I've been in every position in the past 24 hours.
He is old on a race that lives 1,000 years, so he is probably like, he's got to be feeling it. But at the same time, I was always like, I'll never not cure the genophage. But then after like that conversation with him, I'm like, It kind of seems like they're just gonna do the same thing.
You sentenced the man to death by snoo snoo.
Not him, like their race. I mean, I'm sure he would be happy.
Oh yeah.
But like I'm talking like just the Krogan in general. I'm like,
oh yeah.
Are they just gonna take over and become a parasitic race again and like just drain world? Like, are we just headed for the same shit?
Yeah. That's why I'm like, hey, the whatever the Solarian is that I like so much but can't remember his name.
Morden.
I'm like,
Solus.
Hey, Morden. I'm just like, hey, just pretend to fix it, but don't really fix it.
You do that?
Oh,
you pick that option
every time. Because I have the same thought. I'm like, they're just gonna do it again. I feel bad.
I agree with them. I'm like that. I was like, but then there's Rex. There's the shaman. You do find out her name, but I can't remember it at the moment.
Probably Beth or some.
It was a good one. I can't remember.
Bakara. I'm looking around at different games. Oh, I would not want to live in like the Dead Space universe or the
no,
Callisto
that just
Protocol.
Seems depressing. Like no matter what, that just seems depressing.
You've only seen the one side of like its world, but like I can't imagine it gets better. How did you like Callisto Protocol, by the way? Did you beat it?
I did beat it.
Like
it was different. I will say that it was.
Do you have the same sentiments I do, where you're like, it was fine, it was good, I enjoyed it?
I liked it. I think what kept me back a little bit was honestly just the world itself. I was like, oh, it's just another prison break, which I guess the Dead Space is kind of were, but in a different sense. I don't know. I liked the gameplay. I thought it was cool.
Gameplay was very fun.
Gameplay was awesome. I thought it was, I mean, so much has been done. It's kind of hard to be unique, but I did enjoy this one a lot. And this one was kind of challenging. I did like that.
Yeah, it was challenging.
I liked that it wasn't just like, okay, you got to a certain point where you could just kill anything. Like, it was challenging the whole way through. Final boss, like, was rough. I had trouble beating him.
I literally looked it up. I'm like, am I just doing this wrong? And
I did too. I was like, I feel like I'm doing this correctly, and maybe I just suck, but I want to make sure that's all it is.
And that's what it was. And
I was just like, oh.
And then when I finally beat it, I stood up. I'm like, whoa! Like I had a little celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah, those would be universes I do not want to be.
That would be terrifying. That would be truly terrifying. What about the Dragon Age universe? I don't know how much you've explored that.
I'd get bored. The only Dragon Age I like, I'm sorry, Eric. The only Dragon Age I like is the Dragon Age 2. I've tried Inquisition. The first one's good.
The first one's hard if you played number 2 first.
Yes.
Because the gameplay, they revamped the game. Everybody complains about...
It's not even gameplay. It's just like, I really just like everything about the second one. Just like, gameplay's kind of like, eh. But if it's like a story, feature-rich kind of RPG like that, I just like the gameplay just to be like, stay back. Just do your own thing. Let me do my own thing.
I love it too because everybody was so mad about the second one. And I was like, I mean, for under a year, I think they did a pretty admirable job.
Everyone forgets that one universe I would like to live in that probably everyone thinks I'm absolutely crazy for is the, oh shoot. I just had it and it just left. Like I just knew the second I finished that sentence, it's like, just left.
Bye.
What was it? The Witcher universe. Oh, I live there. It would not be a good place to live. I would say it would be terrible, but
I would, depending on my standing in that world, I don't know if I would want.
If I was a noble, rich, or a Witcher, that's the only thing I would take.
That would be pretty rough to live in that one. There's a lot of bad stuff.
There's a lot of bad,
like a lot of bad shit.
Yeah, and like at no point in the series ever was there not just like a constant war occurring in some degree.
It's either Nilfgaard, it's either the kingdoms themselves are
exactly,
war.
And
if not, then there's monsters.
And I think that's what I liked because all that was going on, but the story was just about Geralt, what you doing? He's like, I'm killing monsters. And you're like, that's pretty cool. So I'd love to live in that universe if I was a Witcher. That's my thing.
That's fair. I then at least you have the skills to survive and make a go of it. What about the Halo universe? I feel like that's kind of a unique one.
I don't know if I Does 343 have any involvement in the universe? That's my question.
We can go with the original 3 and Reach. Which, for one of the games, that's one of the games I want to try first is the Halo ones. I downloaded the Master Chief Collection, which is the original trilogy, ODST, and Reach.
They're all the best ones. Yeah. I think 4 is a little misunderstood, but 4 is very fun to play.
I only played it once a long time ago, so I would like to go back when I'm like, when I can give it a real shot, because I didn't even play it on, I didn't have an Xbox One, so I played it on my dad's when he was gone one day. I was like, oh, I'm gonna try to like, I have a weekend where he's working and I was home I was off work or something.
Yeah, so you got a chance to try
it. I plowed through it and I was like, I'd like a shot to like really explore this and take my time. Yeah, I was probably also high because this was a long time ago.
I was probably also stoned.
There was a solid chance that was happening.
I'm just sitting here thinking about it. I think honestly, I would only be in the Halo universe if I was a Spartan. Everything else just seems like it kind of sucks.
It wasn't terrible.
Like the Spartan is the only thing that can actually take on the Covenant, and everything else is just like
actually.
Oh, we actually just
actually.
Oh, no. All right. Push up your glasses. Tell me what I said wrong.
So if you go into the backstory, no, but seriously, so yes, the humans always got their asses beat in like pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Only because they couldn't win in space battles. Their technology was too advanced.
You mean
up front.
The Covenant's technology was too advanced. Yeah, makes
so
sense.
Humans could hold their own in ground engagement. Actually, they could hold their own and they could win a lot in ground engagements. But the problem is the Covenant didn't come to like conquer and occupy. They came to kill humans. Like they want genocide.
Just to get rid of them.
So all they would do is like if there was something of significance there, they would like land, mine it or whatever for the Forerunners and all that. But after that, they would just go to their ships and just burn the planet.
Yeah.
So like humans are like, we can't.
They would just glass it, right?
Yes.
That's the terminology.
That's the term. Is because their plasma weaponry just made the surface like glass, and they were just humans are like, we can't win. But you find out through the books, and I don't know if they ever explored it more in the games, but
probably doubtful.
But the Covenant were more like they found technology and they found out how to make it work, but they weren't like they didn't explore it. They didn't adapt to it. They weren't. That's the best way to put it. They couldn't adapt to shit. Whereas humans found stuff, dissected it, like figured out how everything worked and adapt. So
all the Covenants like technology, they just like they know how it works. Yes. Like how to work it, but if they were like, oh, we need this fixed, they're like, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, like what do they call it? Their slip space drives, basically how they traveled through space.
Yeah.
Like the Covenant were always like better, quote unquote, at it, but it's just because they had the better hardware. Humans, like in one of the books, Cortana and the Master Chief, like they get on, they find this code, yada yada yada, and they're like, oh wow, with this, like we can jump inside a planet's atmosphere, and the Covenant are like, this is heresy, you can't do it, and Cortana's like, suck on my clit, guess what, we can. And they did.
Into the atmosphere.
So it's again, I don't know how much the books mesh with the games, because like the first 3 in Reach, that was my. I mean, and Reach kind of, obviously for cinematic purposes and for getting a hero in the Lone Wolf Spartan, like it didn't happen exactly how the books made it sound, but
yeah. I mean, it's pretty close.
The essence is the same, and I like that they gave a shout out to it in the very last scene of Reach. Did you ever notice there was a bunch of dead Spartans around?
Yeah.
Yeah, that portion actually happened. There was like the bulk of, there was only like 70 some in the beginning. There was only like 30 some after all was said and done.
Yeah.
And like the bulk of them that were remaining went to defend Reach, because Reach was like
their homeworld pretty much.
It was the center of their military power.
Yeah.
So like they're like, we can't lose this, but they lost it.
They lost it. They sure friggin' did. Yeah, I don't know. Halo, that's where I'd be like,
I think that's one of those ones where I'm like, it's a little bit, again, obviously it's fake, but it's a little bit too realistic that I don't know if I would want to go there. Because even if you are a Spartan, life still kind of sucks.
Yeah.
It's like you were kidnapped, you were abducted as a child, brainwashed, and it's also why I didn't like the shows, because I don't even know if I finished the show, to be honest. It went a little bit too off the I was like, there's a lore here. Just like,
I think
stick to it. The original story was better.
I think the original story was better because it was simple.
Yeah, they're like, you have this thing that represses your emotions, and I'm like, no, their emotions and a lot of that stuff got repressed, but it wasn't from like a mind control chip. It was literally just because
they were brainwashed.
Well, like all of the physical and chemical augmentations, all of the training and stuff. Yeah, they were basically like they were kind of brainwashed, but they could think, they felt, they cared about each other. They weren't all this weird like we're gonna betray you because this is an order, and like it was just I didn't like that.
I don't know, adding just too much human to a series that's all about being a super soldier and shooting things.
Yeah, thank you. They went too hard on the story. I was like, there is a very rich story here. You don't need to mess with the characters that much. You just don't.
It's like Halo's more about the lore and everything with that and the universe compared to the characters within it.
Yeah, the character, he's a super soldier killing machine.
And that's
why we love him.
Yeah, you're just there.
And he's like, stuff. I love nothing. I'm a soldier. I have nothing. And then he somewhat falls in love with the AI Cortana. And that's enough of a story. He's like, okay, she's one thing that actually cares about me because she cares about me and not just because I can kill things.
Exactly.
And I'm like, okay, that's about all the depth that I need.
That's all the depth I need to shoot some aliens. I would not like to live in Dante's Inferno universe.
Quick side note, because I want to talk about that. Dante's Inferno is on Game Pass, which
Dante's
I'm pretty
Inferno
pumped about.
Sitting on my shelf behind those coffee filters and all my copies of Anarchy Reigns.
Yeah, Dante's Inferno sounds truly terrifying. Just like,
not even Cleopatra firing out little demons out of her nipples.
Yeah. Oh, what was the other one? God of Wars, and I would say is in the same boat.
God, I would not want to. No,
that was brutal.
And part of me really feels like if you were transported, you would be yourself. You would know everything about them, but you would be yourself. You would not be like any kind of special.
Well, yeah, because games like that, there's a defined hero and or anti-hero. So you're like, oh shit.
So you're just like, I just exist here when gods are duking it out. No thanks. Like
you're coming to the world. You're like, oh wow, I'm in this universe, and then you just get stepped on as they're having their massive like Titan battle in the first God of War.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck?
You just show up for a minute, just splat right on the ground, destroyed. I'm another universe I wouldn't, but gosh, there's a lot of universes I just would not want.
There's a lot of universe. There's very like Skyrim and Mass Effect. I'd love. I'm gonna change that. Elder Scrolls and Mass Effect. Skyrim is not the universe. I am aware. It's just the latest iteration.
Right. I would probably go to Kirby's universe.
I never played the games enough. That is one I feel like I would get bored in.
It's very bright and colorful, and there's a lot of food. That's why I would want to go there.
Ooh, what about the Diablo universe?
Oh no, God no!
Really? I actually think that'd be a lot of fun, especially if you get to be one of like the main heroes.
If you get to be a main hero, but if we're going off our rules, it's just like you're just plop there. I would not want to be there.
Oh, I'm going off of like if we're going in the Mass Effect universe, I'm gonna have some big role in it. If I go into Skyrim, I'm gonna have the ability to get as strong.
Right. We can like look at it both ways. We're just like, okay, I wouldn't want to be in Diablo as a regular person. If I was like a hero or someone who could handle myself in any universe, I'd be okay with it because that's all I would know. But
you would still have to work. Like you would still have to suffer through the normal suffering stuff. But
yeah, if I was an average Joe and I just appeared and I'm just in the Diablo universe and I just see some demon look over at me and just projectile vomit everywhere, I'm like,
I'm pretty sure hundreds of thousands of people died in Diablo 3 alone.
Oh yeah. And then in the new one coming out, I mean, if I went to the universe with the new one and that new demon lady, you've seen her?
I've been trying to stay away from all the trailers and stuff because I didn't have an Xbox at the time when all.
But now you do, and you're like wanting to play it.
Now I'm like, I probably should.
Dude, there's some demon queen that's super hot. I'm like, okay, yes, I will serve you, queen.
They're like, you're our only hope to defeat this demon army. I'd be like, she leads the demon army. I'm defecting.
Yeah, it's like, see you nerds. Hey, what's up, my demon? And the demon's like, whoa, that's our word. You can't say that. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
No, she's like, we're sworn enemies. I'm like, we don't have to be.
We don't have to be, baby. Start undoing your belt. And you just get, like, eviscerated by some demon that runs up and kills you. Another universe I not want to be in is the Nier universe for the sole reason, Drakengard Extended, because by the time... Alright, in Drakengard, there's humans. By the time we get to Nier and Nier Automata, humans are extinct. Humans have been extinct for ages. I'm like, if I went to that universe, I'd just be extinct.
You just show up and are just like turned to dust. You're like,
it's funny you say that. Pretty damn close. Everyone was turned into pillars of salt.
Wow, that sucks.
Because
that's not even a fun way to go.
Because at the end of this game,
how's there a second one if this happens in the first?
Well, the second one was to capitalize on it, and it has some ties to this one, but it isn't very good. But also, it's like a collector's item, so I just grabbed it.
Fair.
So at the end of this game, this is how wacky it gets. It's a medieval thing, right? Well, they accidentally, like at the end of the final ending, they go through a portal. The portal ends up in like modern day Tokyo, and the dragon like lands in the city. We don't know where Kime, the main character, goes, but there's also this giant body of this like god that you killed, which in turn infects the entire planet with white chlorination syndrome, where you either become a monster that's goal is only to kill everything. You have to make a pact with this god. Pretty much, if you get infected, like, all right, become a servant of me, kill all my enemies, which is everyone, or turn into a pillar of salt. And you had to pick. So by the time we get to Nier, you see like people running around. Go, what the heck? No, they're all robots. Not a single one is a human, and they don't know that.
That's oof. That's a dark one. Damn.
Oh my gosh, all the games are dark, and that's why I would not want to be part of the Nier or Dragon Guard universe, because I would just show up and be like, turn to salt, like.
Oh, here's a fun one. What about the Star Wars universe? There's too many games to pick a specific one, but like.
I don't know.
I think I would say yes, just because like there's so much technology and stuff.
Is it just me going there? Am I not bringing the Star Wars fan base?
Yeah, we're gonna pretend that they get left behind.
All right,
like
then yes,
you get to make this universe what you want of it.
All right, then I will. Yes, because the Star Wars fan base is disgusting and terrible.
Oh, they're like the most toxic. We were talking about this before. I guess the newest season of The Mandalorian, everybody's kind of like freaking out about it, but I was like.
Because I
didn't watch yet.
Jack Black and Lizzo show up.
Yes, I did see some. I guess people like in that they were like, "This is stupid." I'm like, "Yeah, shut the fuck up."
I'm like, the episodes are good.
I haven't watched it yet because Kate, I think, wants to watch it with me, and she's slow as hell at watching things.
And you just want to wait for all episodes to come out. So
they are now also all out, which I do actually like to do. I just try to avoid spoilers, and then I can just binge watch it.
Yeah, I think I only have one episode to watch. I think it's the
finale.
Yeah,
I think that just came out this week.
Yeah.
So my boss, I think, went out and was watching it on his lunch.
And he was like, "Oh, did you watch a new episode?" And you're like, "No."
Shut up! No, la 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 la.
All right, so I would go to that universe 100% if it was just me, no fans.
Yeah, but I just think it'd be cool to like get a ship. You get some cool like armor and some cool blasters, and you're like, "What trouble can I get up to today?"
And you get a Twi'lek. That's your girlfriend.
There's so many aliens in that universe. I'd have to experience the universe.
That is your sole purpose of exploring the universe.
not the sole purpose. It's just a fun added benefit.
It's a side quest, a constant side quest that you are taking part in, and just oh my god.
Who among these stars can tame my wild heart?
As you blast off and find out you're banging a hut.
I've thought about it. I'm not going to lie. I've thought about it. I don't know if I would go through with it, but I've thought about it.
I've thought about it. Any other universes? Those are the ones off the top of my head that I would.
I'm trying to think of like anything. I'm trying to think of my game stack like at home.
Because then you.
I already know the answer, but I have to ask it because it was such a big game for me. Gears of War.
Oh no, God, no.
Yeah,
no.
The answer to that is fuck no. I would put that on the level of like Warhammer. No.
Because they come from the ground. Where can you hide if they come from the ground?
Yeah, that's the terrifying thing.
Mechanically, I think that's super cool though. Like that's very unique how they're just like they pop out of the ground.
I thought like everything about the first Gears of War was just super unique. Obviously, Apocalyptic World isn't, but like these things that come up from underground, they're not bugs, but they like have all this weird ecosystem bugs from down there that they tamed. And are now fighting, and you're like, I don't know why they're fighting. And they destroyed their own world to stop them, and it didn't work. And they're like, we have one city where it's too thick for them to tunnel, and they're like, and we just, but it was so good. And then plus a fucking chainsaw machine gun.
That is so true.
Everybody who was like, that's so stupid. Y'all like Chainsaw Man now, so shut up. It was a good idea. Gears of War was ahead of its time.
Gears of War had it, and I just love the idea of like mechanically like a spawning. We don't have to spawn enemies. We just make the ground shake and they pop out of the ground.
Yep.
And, like That was awesome. Now, I've only played Gears of War 1 halfway through.
Really?
I haven't played 2 or 3 ever.
2 was awesome because it was...
Everyone said, like, it's that...
Similar enough to the... It wasn't quite as dark as the first one, but it was close enough with such a massive... Alright, somebody was fucking with... Not my car. It was similar enough.
Was it an old man because we can fight him?
No, it was just a car pulling out, but it looked like... Anyway, it's fine.
Okay.
Sorry, I got my ADD. I got distracted. Gears of War 2. It was dark enough like the first one, but it took the characters that you like, it expanded upon them and upon the world as a whole, and because of some new... the Unreal Engine that they used, I believe, they were able, instead of only having, like, 10 enemies at a time, which was a lot in the first one, they could put like hundreds on the field, like for certain ones, like when you're riding that big machine in the beginning.
Yeah.
And like it was cool to see that explode. The third one,
it kind of like has like that almost Mass Effect 3 thing where it's like you can respect it, but like it isn't necessarily the way you wanted it to be wrapped up.
Yes and no. So Mass Effect 3 was perfect in its gameplay and its desperation. Gears of War 3 was fun, but because it had blown up so much, and there's a writer, she wrote a bunch of books, like kind of expanding on the backstory of a lot of stuff.
Yeah, like the Pendulum Wars and all that.
The Pendulum Wars, why Marcus was in prison, like...
Yeah.
But they just... Like me, I was a nerd, I read all that, so I knew kind of what happened, but like if you didn't, there's a point in time where literally a navy shows up. A fucking navy with, like, warships shows up to help you. And if you didn't know...
Read the book, you're just like, there's just a navy?
Yeah, they're like, oh, the Goraznians are here to help us. And you're like, what?
Who are the Goraznians?
You're like, wait, what's going on? And, like, there's just... It goes off the rail. It was good. I liked it. They were going to have trouble ending it in some way, shape, or form.
But then, I mean, they continue with 4 and 5.
But I didn't even play those, so I
have never played them either, so I can't judge.
They do have it on Game Pass, so I am going to, just because I like it. I played a little bit of 4 with my dad, just because he was like, hey, let's come over and play we have co-op on this. So we played for a while. Like, the gameplay and stuff was cool. Like, it didn't... I don't know.
I think it's not the Locusts anymore. It's like these...
It's like some robot, or... I don't even know.
Yeah.
But it's... Yeah, Gears of War would be awful. There's no other way to say it. It would just be awful to live there.
There's certain universe that it's, like, almost appealing that level of despair.
Because then you feel better about this universe. Exactly. You're like, I can shut this down and I can put the controller down.
Yeah, I can walk away from this.
Well, Gears of War, even before all the locusts and stuff, they were just at war forever.
Oh yeah, because they were always fighting over the
emulsion.
Emulsion, that's what
emulsion
it was.
Was a big one.
They were just always fighting over that resource, and then like
Union of Independent Republics was the people they were fighting against, and then it was.
But then the locusts showed up.
Wow, how am I forgetting who the Gears were? They had it. There's an actual name of like their government and stuff, and I can't. I'm weirdly blanking.
I remember that it's like COG or something. Well, that's
like
the terminology.
COG, Coalition of Ordered Governments. Thank you.
Me, who's like barely played the first one, I'm like, oh yes, the COG.
Well, I kept thinking gear, but gear is just what they called their soldiers as like a play on the term COG.
Yeah, gear in the cog of the machine.
Yeah, so like I was like, but it's not that. What is it? It was the Coalition of Ordered Government, and it was just two superpowers who were comprised of a bunch of states, and they wanted to fight each other.
And they just want to fight, and that's how the locusts, from what I know, that's how the locusts like took over and just did so much work so fast because like. They were always fighting and in a weakened state, and then they're all just like, look at us.
Well, the war ended 6 weeks before Emergence Day.
Of course it did.
So, and that's what one of the books was about, was because they mentioned it very briefly in the first Gears game. They're like, oh, you're Sergeant Phoenix, you fought at Aspho Fields, and blah, blah, blah. Well, that refers to when they sent a small commando force in to steal some plans for the Hammer of Dawn.
Yeah.
And then Marcus and... So Dom was a commando who went in with a small force to steal it with Hoffman. Okay. And then Marcus and Dom's older brother were in the infantry, and they were kind of like the rear guard. So like an alarm got tripped somewhere and blah blah blah. So forces came, they fought in Asphalt Fields while at the research facility there was stuff going on, and but eventually they get the technology, they get out, but Dom's older brother dies in that. So that's what a big thing of like why Marcus was so like withdrawn and blah blah blah, and there's a whole bunch of like his daddy issues and everything. But,
oh yeah, he's like a bazillion daddy issues. I was gonna ask, and I forgot. Some about Gears. Oh, did you ever play Judgment?
That's the one, yeah, where you're bared, I believe.
Yeah, and it's like Emergence Day. Like it takes place like on Emergence Day or something.
It's not on Emergence Day, but it's
a prequel. I know
it's a prequel before he hooks up with Delta Squad with Marcus and them, because he used to be, I believe he was a lieutenant, and he gets like busted down to private.
I do know, like, at the beginning, there's a trial, and, like,
he's on trial because he was going through doing a bunch of stuff, and it turns out, like, I think, like, during the trial, some big monster attacks, and, like, you're like, yeah, this is what I was trying to stop, but it kind of shows his backstory a little bit of, like, how he used it, because he's very smart, he's a good fighter and all that, so everybody's like, why are you a private? Yeah, I heard it too. Dude,
I hate my neighbor.
Yeah, I could talk about Gears for a while. I love just that universe. But again, I love that it's fictional. And I can explore it from the fictional standpoint.
Yeah, there's Gears. So, all right, let's iron out the Gears 1, 2, and 3. Then there's Judgment. Then there's Gears 4, 5. And then there's also Gears Tactics, right?
Gears Tactics, I didn't even know was a thing. So I might have to explore that because I didn't. I mean, know
obviously, since you have an Xbox, it's going to be on there.
Yeah, I haven't had an Xbox since the 360, so I've been out of the loop for a long time.
Honestly, after getting a 360 controller back in my hand, absolutely, I
miss it.
Oh, I love it. I'm like the PlayStation controller, the PS4. I feel it, and I'm like, oh, you feel dirty.
I don't mind playing because I had a PS4 for so long. I don't mind playing it.
I don't mind it, but I'd like.
Once we got the Xbox One back, before all of the horrible events happened...
I was going to see if my controller was in reach. I was going to grab it and just, milk those little... The handles. Oh.
Well, I got the Xbox controller back in my hand, and I was like, oh, I missed you so much.
They really nailed it with the design of the 360. That's, perfect.
I already told my wife, I'm like, it's useless, and I'm broke, because I spent a lot of money on bills this month.
Right.
But, I was like... Nice. I'm getting a gold controller. I have been a nerd for my 360. I bought a shiny gold controller.
I got a gold controller for this?
I got a gold controller for my PS4. I told her, I was like, I want a gold controller. She's like, well, we need a second one. I'm like, it's gold.
It's gold.
And she's like, is that more expensive? I'm like, I don't know, and I don't care. It's gold.
It's gold. It's gold. It's going to be gold. I don't know what to tell you, babe. It's gold.
I was like, I have a credit card that I have no sense of how much damage it's doing to my life. So we'll go buy 2 controllers. Like, you can get one you want, but I'm getting a gold one.
I'm getting a gold one. You've earned a gold one. You suffered enough that you've earned a gold controller. I'm
still so angry about that. I'm honestly debating on if I want to try it tonight or not.
I think you should.
Honestly, I could also see me getting home and just being tired and, laying down.
Just laying down, getting a drink in your hand and just watching something with the wife.
We don't have any alcohol at home. We've been doing fairly well this week.
Dude.
We had one night we got a 6-pack because after, like I said, the one night where I was flaming angry, I was fucking pissed.
Well, a 6-pack, that's fine because it's like you're going to...
That's kind of what I was like. It's a couple each. We're not going to go crazy.
Just enough to...
Yeah. But we're both trying very hard to be better about that. Which sucks because it's built into my relaxation time on the weekends. But
oh, for real. So, Eric, let me ask you, as we wrap up today's episode. What are you playing this week? What game are you playing this week? Just in general, just throw it out there.
It's either going to be... I have been having a lot of fun with Skyrim on the PS4, so I could see me continuing to play that, or... I'll probably go back and play the Gears on Xbox One. Series X, if it works.
Let me know if you do that, because maybe we could have a little book club and we could play the same game at the same time. Then we can talk about it. Because I told you, I've only played halfway through Gears 1. And
I would say...
I've owned Gears 3. I've owned it. I only played the multiplayer / horde mode with my friends. It's the only reason I got it.
I'm pretty sure I should still have all the gears for the 360 if you want to borrow them.
I mean, I can. Also, I could just go to... They're $5 at the store. Like, I was seriously looking into them, and all of them are sitting on the shelf at the used game store. They're like $5. I'm like...
I would say Gears is probably the one I'm going to start with first.
Oh, obviously.
I might switch back and forth between Gears and Halo, because I've been dying to play them both. But Gears, I've really been waiting. Plus, it's the Ultimate Edition, and they remastered it for the next-gen console. So I was like, sure, I'm going to give it a go. I'll see if there's some extra stuff. Do you like third-person shooters?
Oh, I do.
I would highly recommend it. The first one is, it has a story. It's very succinct. I think I'm using that word correctly. Yeah, it's very truncated.
Yeah, maybe that's I think the last thing I remember is I got past the part with the giant female berserker, and that was it.
Oh wow, you were that's pretty early in the game. Wait. The first time you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you're in that church and the guy's like, he runs out, he's like, it's gonna kill us, and then it kills him, and then you have to sneak by it.
So you're trying to get to the stranded settlement, I do believe, when that happens, right?
I'm gonna give you the biggest shrug. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, it's been so long since I've played this, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure that's early in the... So there's 5 acts.
Okay, yeah, I was probably in one of the first ones then, if there was 5 acts, because I don't remember seeing any other act. Like,
you never made it underground?
Okay, yeah, no, I've not played Gears of War.
Okay, that was very early, or it was earlier in the game. I would recommend, if you've never played them, they're worth at least a playthrough.
I mean, they're fun, obviously.
Even the third one,
because I went through when I got my Xbox One for the sole reason to play Cuphead. Then Cuphead showed up on the Switch, and I just got rid of my Xbox One. I played all the Halo games because I never played them all before. So I played 1, 2, 3. I've played 4. Before then, but then I did Reach and ODST. Those were all great. They were just fun.
Yeah, the first one is like, there's a story, but like it's just fun to run around and shoot shit.
Yeah.
The second one, you're like, oh, this is cool. There's more of a backstory. They're giving more depth.
The second one was so good. And
second one was like one of the best games of all time, either for single player or multiplayer.
And then 3 was also just as good.
I was surprised. Like, they did a good job with like kind of wrapping it up, but leaving it a little bit more open-ended.
Then they're like, hey, 343, and 343 is like, hold my beer, I'm going to ruin this whole series' career.
Kudos to them for just giving it, they went all in on trying to give it a new direction, and it's just like...
And there's only one direction.
Well, the problem is like, the story's set. Like... It's cool. I'm glad they did. Like, they set it up, and I'm glad they tried to explore the Forerunners. I'm just surprised they took it the way they did.
And don't freak out. I'm just losing my Jim Short thing because my strap on here.
Don't worry.
I'm not like whipping out my...
The only thing holding in my spicy lunch today is how tight my belt is done right now.
Yes.
I'm gonna be doing like 100 miles an hour to get home in time.
I mean...
I will not subject you to that horror.
I appreciate that.
I will subject you to my wife's horror, or to my wife to that horror, but not you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, to wrap up things, the game I'm going to be playing, honestly, I'm going to try to play more Drakengard if the PS2 works, but also Meet Your Maker. I've been playing a lot of that and really having fun.
That just came out as a download for the PlayStation. It looked interesting. That's like a world build, like you build like a trap thing, right?
So what it is I mean, they put some story in, whatever, it doesn't matter. So what it is just you play as this like android robot thing, and everyone has bases that they build. They build these bases. You have to get all the it's called GenMat. I know, genetic material, but they just call it GenMat. Finally, I agree. The loop is undone. I was sitting here that whole time just fighting with that. And then you build a level, and then you like put traps in it so they can go in and try to get the stuff, but like it usually kills them a few times. I've just been having a lot of fun with that because it's set up in a way where, so it's like Super Mario Maker, but it's a first-person shooter, and the way they designed it is a lot more like there's no way you can create one of those like impossible levels because...
They limit it so it's at least beatable even if it's hard.
Exactly. Because in Mario Maker, you'll have like those absolute like impossible levels where you have to get this turtle shell and you have to kick it off this wall perfectly and do a spin jump and bounce off of that and pass these spikes.
And that takes the fun away. Well, I won't. For me, that takes the fun away. For people,
like, they love that. I absolutely don't. I will quit out a level. But like the way they set it up, like you are incentivized to try a level. If it's too hard, like, hey, everything you collected, experience, parts, you keep those. You don't obviously get the big bonus at the end, but your time isn't wasted either.
That's always fun.
And I like it a lot. Like, every night I've just been playing. I will play for a long time, get enough currency to build a level. I'll build a level, then I'll go to bed. That is like my routine every single
Now,
night.
If you build a level and other people try it,
It'll let you know, and if they die, it'll show you where they die.
But like, do you get anything from that?
Yeah.
Okay,
you just get little rewards, like little just parts and some experience and stuff.
So if you die attempting a level, do you lose anything?
So from what I understand, there's like a base amount that you just lose, but like only once. It doesn't keep stacking. It's just like, oh, you died, you just lost this many parts and this many things. But it's like, that wasn't in your inventory anyways. It's just more of a reward for the person who made the map. But there are options for you to like put up your map in a way that if they successfully get out of your base, stealing the gen mat, then you'll actually lose some in your overall total. But if they die, your rewards are like amplified by 100%.
Oh, so it's like a gamble. It's like you can lose out, but you can also win big.
Yeah, exactly. And the one level I made this level that's literally just this small little castle town with this giant tower in the back. And like as soon as you walk in, you can just see in the tower, you can see the gen mat like glowing there. So you could just run up and grab it. Or you can go through the town and like all the different buildings lead to like there's these secret vaults that will just spawn randomly and give you a bunch of items. I've been having a blast. And this was my segue to talk about Meet Your Maker for a little bit. That's the only reason I brought this up. I didn't care what you were playing. I don't give a shit about what Aaron's playing. I just want to talk about Meet Your Maker.
I'm going like a decade back to play an old game, but I also haven't been able to play it in a decade, so.
Yeah, and definitely now that you have a new console, you can probably try out some of these new games.
I'm not even going to think about it until I can verify that this can at least play a game.
Yes, that's fair.
So I'm going to verify that it can play a game, and then I'll explore more.
Exactly. What is that button doing? That's a weird button. I'm sorry.
Click it.
No.